All right. We're good to go. Yeah, let's get right into things. There's a lot of matches to get through today, so I'm gonna do my best to get through all of them. If it ends up going too long, we'll I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out because I have a feeling that AWG versus FAV Gaming is gonna probably go on longer than I want it to. Just because AWG loves tying. But anyway, thank you guys for coming. As more people trickle in, obviously I'll start repeating myself. But yeah, we're back. We are so back. Back in the tournament trenches. It's been a good, I guess, like less than a month off. But yeah, I'm definitely excited to be doing my little commentary thing again. I did add music. Let me know if it's too loud. I kind of I feel like it's a little bit better to have music just because, like, obviously the stream is muted. You're not getting like the game sound effects. But if the music's too loud, if it's too distracting, just let me know. I'll turn it down or off. I think I will turn it down a little bit just to start here. But yeah, if that's too distracting, let me know. But I'm gonna get right into things. We're gonna start off with Scars versus RC, which is I would say, at least for me, a very, very highly anticipated matchup. Scars obviously did super well in Call of the Abyss. RC nearly clinching the championship, coming in second worldwide. Out of every single team in competitive IDV. So yeah, very, very exciting here, and we've had a lot of team changes. So I am actually going to take a minute to go through those. So I guess we will be spending a little bit of extra time on that. So I might not get to the third match today. But we'll see. I'm gonna try to keep as close to being like on time as possible, just because there are so many matches. I know that like if you haven't gone in and done your Golden Apple subscriptions, go do that. You get a ton of apples out of it because there are so many matches, because every single team, we're in group stage, every single team is playing every single team. So there's a lot of subscriptions, a lot of apples to get. I think it's like 2,400 apples. Anyway, yeah, do that if you haven't already. But we're going over the teams here. Current captain of Scars is Soar, right there in the center there. We've also got Monet, Cat, I think Genki's a new member, new survivor on Scars, and another, also Takayaki on the survivor side, continuing. We did lose Shinami. Shinami was the captain of Scars, and was kind of the face of Scars, so it was a little bit surprising to see him leave, but we did get Miraikon back on Scars. Miraikon used to be on Scars, was on Zeta for some time, was their round 1 hunter. What's interesting about the hunter situation on Scars here, and this is something that's gonna come up, I'm gonna repeat myself, I'm gonna bring it up time and time again, because both Burio and Miraikon are round 1 hunters. They've been playing round 1, they've been playing Opera Singer, very, very consistently through the past few competitive seasons, through IJL Autumn, through Koa, through, I think, Summer IJL as well. Last year, both of them were playing round 1. Now we have 2 round 1 hunters on one team. So seeing that is really, really going to be something to look out for, something that I'm definitely interested in seeing with how that pans out. And I'm very curious as to how it's going to pan out as well, because, obviously, apart from the fact that we have 2 Opera Singer mains on the same team, both playing as the only hunters, we also have Ivy. The Shadow is now available in competitive play. With that, we also have Puppeteer, who I definitely expect to see. I believe those are the only 2 those are the 2 new newcomers coming in this season. But yeah, I'm super excited to see what happens with those. And now recapping as well, Scars has been kind of perpetually in second place, but Reject coming almost from behind. They've had kind of an up and down performance throughout IJL. But they are currently number 2 in the world. They've beat out every other Japanese team. They're the number 1 Japanese team, number 2 in the world, after obviously GG. But yeah, back to Reject. We did unfortunately lose Ivory. We also lost Shota, but Shota hasn't been hunting for reject in a while. He wasn't active in Koa pretty much, I don't think at all. I don't think they ever let him play, which was a little bit sad to see. But we still have Peter on the Hunter side. We still have Akka, obviously dominating the Hunter side here. And new on reject is Mono P. Mono P was on Fennel, I want to say he was on Fennel. But I think, personally, I think he has kind of the energy to match the rest of reject, so I'm really excited to see what he's going to do. Very fun player. This is what I love about Reject. I mean, if you've seen my streams at any point before, if you've interacted with me at all, you know that I'm a very, very big Reject fan. So yeah, I'm very happy to see, you know, even if they're changing up their lineup a little bit, it's still largely the same, and we also are kind of keeping that same, you know, they have a lot of fun, and I think that's part of why they're such a good team, is because they have fun. They take things seriously. Obviously, they take it seriously, but they don't take it seriously to the point of no return. They still have fun out there, and they still, you know, they put on a great show. So I'm very excited. We're basically seeing the top two, or I think we are seeing. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't recall where Axis Wave placed. But I think Scars and RC are technically the top two Japanese teams right now. So we're kind of coming out the gate with like the title matchup, so to speak. I mean, I guess you could make an argument where it's like, oh well, Zeta, you know, is the defending IJL champion. They would be, you know, the quote unquote title matchup. But okay, I thought they were on about the same line. But yeah, I mean, coming up later, if we get to it, if these matches are not going to take too long, and I don't burn out, but we will be seeing Scars versus Axis Wave soon. Yeah, and yeah, I also love following RC on Twitter. The majority of my Twitter following at this point, or like people who I am following, is esports members, which is very entertaining. Highly recommend. Just go through like the official esports account and like the accounts for the teams, and just like, you know, follow everybody who they're following, and you're pretty much set to go. It's great. But yeah, no, it does look like we're going to have RC hunting first here, which does mean we're going to see Scars' hunter side first, and it's a big question of who is going to be hunting first from Scars, because again, you have two round one hunters, and both of these. Did my music just stop? My music stopped. My bad. I don't know when that happened. Very sorry. But yeah, as I said this at the start of the stream, but I think we have a couple more people now. Basically, I added music. If it's too loud, or if it's too quiet, let me know. But yeah, I figured it would be good to have music for when like I'm quiet, because it's just me talking. So we're trying it out. We're testing it out. But do give me feedback on that. Anyway, yeah, very, very interested to see who is going to be hunting for Scars first, because with two, okay, it does look like it's going to be Burio. So interesting. We're going to have, I would assume this means we're going to have round 2 Miraicon, with kind of a larger pool of viable round 1 hunters, now that we have, you know, it's not just Opera Singer. We do have the Shadow kind of hanging around in here. It does kind of make it a little bit easier to have, you know, two pretty much specialty round 1 hunters working at once. But it's very interesting. I'm really, really interested to see how Scars performs on both sides, because, you know, not only do they have a new hunter, well, not a new hunter, but they have a little bit of a rearrangement in their hunter lineup. Anyway, their Survivor side is also interesting, but we're going to put a pin in that for now. Heading into RC's Survivor side, we're going to see Mono P representing himself with the Gardener, Entomologist, and Psychologist. I do like that they have 3 Survivor mains now. Usually, I don't think it's ever been 3. I think it's only ever been 2 on display. So I like that there's 3 Survivor mains now. I feel like there's definitely a wide enough Survivor roster where you can get away with that. Or that's honestly good to have that. I also like the, does everybody have slicked back hair today? Did they do that on purpose? Anyway, Rowley here. Surprised that Batter is not here, but I do suppose that nerf may, I feel like the nerf is probably active here. I think that all of the reworks from the end of last season are going to be active, so we've got another, I think it's another nerf on Opera Singer, as well as nerf on Batter, buff on Doctor, which isn't really going to be relevant. don't remember the rest off the top of my head, but we're going to see Dancer, Patient, and Toy Merchant here on Rowley. And yeah, you really can't narrow down Rowley in just 3 options. I was bringing up Batter because he did play quite a bit of Batter, quite a bit of scary Batter, I would say. Yeah, exactly. The fact that there's no harassers present on Rowley's pool. I mean, to be fair, Soba does... I would say we're going to see the harassers on Soba in just a second. But okay, yeah, there we are. We're going to see, yeah, exactly. We're going to have the Prospector, Seer, and Antiquarian here on Soba. Soba also, you know, kind of the heart of the team, I would say. He was captain for some time, and then passed the torch down to City, which I feel like has been working out really well for them. They kind of had a rocky start with City as the captain, but... since Koa, they've been pretty much on fire, so yeah, definitely, I feel like they've really nailed their Survivor side rhythm, and I'm excited to see how Mono P kind of plays into that, because he has the energy, but, you know, I'm also interested in the fact that, like, his roster has kind of changed. Mono P, I do believe, was a rescuer man, or at least gravitated more towards rescuers, but City obviously is... you know, the rescuer, we're seeing here with the first officer, mercenary, and the weeping clown. Not technically a rescuer on that last one, but definitely still, you know, a pretty in line. You know, we've also seen City play Wildling. We've seen City, I believe City's played Aeroplanist as well. So we're looking at kind of that distance. We're looking at that tankier capabilities. And yeah, I mean, just a very, very well-rounded team, very well-rounded survivors as well. Yeah, I would say Mono P, if anything, if we're not going to see Mono P, completely changing, but yeah, Weepy is rescuer adjacent. He's kind of the same level as, I would say Aeroplanist and Weeping Clown are kind of like the same, not the same gimmick, but like the same idea, I guess, but... yeah, we are going to see RC Coach Hoo. If you are looking for a very fun streamer to watch, go watch his streams. He has very, very high intensity ranked stream. Not high intensity, but like talking at kind of the same frequency as like I do in terms of like not shutting up. I adore his streams. So, yeah, if you're looking, a lot of esports streamers, I feel like don't talk as much because they just kind of let their gameplay speak for itself, but Hoo has fun. But yeah, moving on to Burio here, we are also going to see Cilia is the coach now, or is a coach now for Scars. Cilia was a hunter, moved on to being a Scars official content creator. We did see him doing commentary last season, I believe, probably the season before. I don't actually remember how long he's been doing commentary for, but he's gone back to being a coach for Scars, which I'm also very excited about. I feel like that's really going to kind of shape up Scars' hunter side, having Cilia there. So that's been really fun to see. And there's been a lot of people really excited about that one as well. Cilia is very, very popular, and has been very popular in the community for a really long time. So, yep, there he is. He's no longer being cut off by the side panel. Didn't talk much about Burio. I guess I'll talk about Burio now that his stats are off the screen. We did see, you know, the only hunter there was Opera Singer. Burio is a very, very specialized Opera Singer, a very strong Opera Singer. If you look at his stats in the esports tab in game, you know, he's basically got like a full circle up there with like high win rate, high terror shocks, you know, just very, very strong with that Opera Singer. I'll be excited to see, you know, if we see Burio playing anybody else. I would say probably not, at least for now. I would definitely expect an Opera Singer coming out round 1, just because, you know, she's still not banned. She's still very, very viable, even with the nerfs, even with, you know, kind of the way that sort of the game has kind of evolved to try and counter her, but even then, you know, she's still just overwhelmingly on top. We're going to see RC banning, it looks like, is that Chinatown? Yeah, that is Chinatown. It's just a little hard to tell because it's inverted, but we are going to see Moonlit River Park as our first map. So a very strong map. Kind of an even map for both sides, I would say. Definitely the size here is going to be not so much of a hassle, but definitely, you know, an adjustment for an Opera Singer. Opera Singer is a fairly close range hunter. She does have map control capability, but she's very fast. She's very fast. So being on a big map isn't the worst thing in the world for her, but, you know, she is a single hit hunter. It's a little bit like, you know, playing Geisha or Blade Queen. They're still very, very viable on these maps, but they can only be in one place at a time. Something else, though, and I do believe this is the other new thing, apart from nerfs, buffs, added Puppeteer, added Shadow, we also have Warp. Warp has finally been introduced to the competitive scene, which I'm really, really excited to see. It's sort of a more, I would say, it's a shorter range, but more versatile teleport. I've been using it a lot in my matches personally. I find it very fun. It's a little bit, I would say it's a little bit risky to bring on a map like Moonlit just because it is shorter range. You know, you're not going to be able to teleport all the way to the other gate. I would say that's probably less of an issue with Opera Singer in particular, just because it's Opera Singer, and she can just dash to catch up. You know, if you're only able to warp halfway across the map, you know, you make up the other half of it pretty quickly, but it's still a little bit less efficient than a teleport. It does allow you the opportunity. I'm gonna move that up. I'm cutting off the entire, oh no, I'm gonna move that up if I can hit the right button and not immediately destroy everything. My bad. Nope, that's too far. There we go. Now we're actually centered and ready to go. I did not realize I was cutting off the entire, like, half the screen that entire time. That's my bad. But as we all know, graphic design is very much my passion. But heading into things, I'm also gonna scooch over my, no! I'm gonna scooch over my PNG if it'll allow me to select it. There we go. That way we can actually see all the bands. Now we're good. Now we're good. I definitely tested how this was going to look before we started the stream. But for our first two picks here, we are actually going to see that Puppeteer coming out right away, as well as the Seer. So pretty strong picks to lock out right away, especially with that Seer. However, does make sense here with that Puppeteer. He's not very useful except for against a hunter like an Opera Singer. You know, he kind of has a little bit more risk going against somebody with like a chip hunter. Opera Singer, though, he's a tank. He's a definitive tank. For our bands, though, it does look like these have been pretty tailored, well, somewhat tailored to RC. That Wildling band is definitely tailored, right towards City, you know, forcing that Mercenary out. Mercenary is, I'm a little bit surprised about Mercenary. I feel like First Officer, definitely a good choice here. He is a little bit more of a reliable rescuer against Opera Singer, but because Merc is rechargeable, it doesn't really matter, or reusable, it doesn't really matter here. Lucky Guy being picked third is a little bit interesting. I would say that may have been in anticipation of a coordinator ban. No, Lucky Guy here is definitely, I feel like there's a strategy here. However, the only, I guess maybe to support City with the items is kind of the only thing I can think of for Lucky Guy over coordinator. But yeah, I guess that kind of just comes down to personal. He's a very common first round pick, but you usually see him first just because he's kind of, you know, dispensable. But yeah, and we are going to be seeing that Opera Singer here, so no big surprises yet. That's true, I forgot about the veteran speed boost. That would be it. Thank you. I always forget that Lucky Guy has the veteran speed boost because he's not a veteran. Like, he is by virtue of being there, like, you know, from the outset in the game, but, like, you know, Magician doesn't have, you know, none of the other beta characters other than the veterans have the veteran speed boost, so, you know, Lucky Guy never really falls into that category for me. But yeah, heading into our spawns here, it looks like we are going to spawn closest to fourth stop here. Or first stop, that's my bad. First stop here. I was thinking of fourth stop because that's usually where we spawn. But changing things up here, it looks like we could be going for Soban first chase. We could also go for City. However, Mercenary, a little bit of a risky first chase here. He is weaker against Opera Singer. The difference, though, is that he will still waste time. City obviously knows how to kite and knows how to use those elbow pads. And the rest of the team does not have a decoding debuff. So, yeah. With that, we will likely be seeing Lucky Guy on our first chase. But yeah, first stop is a little bit risky. It's definitely got a lot of potential for our first chase. I would say it's riskier for the hunter here because of that coaster being there right away. City also in great position here. City and Rowley are both in great position to just go ahead and turn off that second stop right away. So Soba could definitely make use of the coaster here. I'm definitely excited to see if that turns out. We're actually going to see Flywheel on Soba as well. That's a little bit of a surprise. I was definitely expecting broken windows, but getting into it now, we are going to see Soba heading right towards the back of this stop. It looks like we have actually managed to start with a gun here, so I would say I would anticipate us using that sooner than later. Yep, right now we're going to go straight for that gun. Soba immediately heading towards that coaster and just going to take right off. It does look like we were able to turn off the stop. Was that where City was headed? And yep, that is exactly what's going to happen. Soba immediately all the way across the map here. A lot of time being bought for RC survivors. We're going to see a cipher already at around 40% here. We have started a second cipher at 12%, but because of this rotation, we are taking a second to get to those ciphers. So we should be seeing those get started sooner or later. But already being, over halfway, almost 60% of the way through a cipher here is really, really good. Especially, we forced Burio to travel all the way across the map. So just really, really strong start here from RC Survivors. Ooh, anticipating that first hit a little bit early there. That's a little bit unfortunate there, from Rowley's Owl. But with that blink utilized, we are going to see Soba transitioning back towards the coaster. I would say that was probably still on cooldown. That's a little bit unfortunate there. But not a bad first containment. We did force Burio all the way across the map here. We do have several survivors in the area. It does look like we're actually going to leave okay, no, yeah, we are going to pop that cipher. From Rowley there. Rowley on Seer is not what I expected. But yeah, I guess that's where we're at now. Yeah, ciphers aren't terrible here, and we did waste quite a bit of time at the beginning of the game. Oh, beautiful pallets done there from Soba, and we still have that flywheel online, so that can definitely come into play here on this rebound kite. Obviously, Tide Turner is active from Mercenary. Unfortunately, no flywheel coming out here. Soba is just going to take the hit and go down here. Does make sense, I would say. We're saving, yeah. Rowley is like Akka for survivors. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you really can't predict what he's going to play next. But yeah, I would say we're saving the flywheel here for that second chase. Without Tide Turner, obviously, City did already utilize that. Rest of the team does have broken windows here. Mono P actually looks like he was expecting that first chase here from Puppeteer, with no borrowed time, but City drawing Burio's attention away from the chair. It looks like they may actually opt to sell here, which wouldn't be a bad choice. A little bit unfortunate though that flywheel wasn't used, but obviously a lucky guy without any resources here is oh wait, no, we're actually gonna go right for the last second here. And we do have that flywheel still online. Nicely done with the flywheel. Able to take that vault as well. City is going to take a hit here. We're about to be at 2 ciphers remaining. Both those ciphers do have pretty significant progress on them. So once again, we are on a very, very good trajectory here. I would say draw trajectory at worst. Especially taking into account here, Burio does have trump card. We've got about 10 seconds left on blink here, so I would say we're probably going to switch to teleport, possibly warp. I would say teleport's probably more likely, or even abnormal here would be a good idea, especially since we do have those ciphers coming along pretty smoothly. But it does look like they have started a third final cipher here, kind of in anticipation of a potential abnormal. But Burio doubling back here, trying to catch City, it looks like. And it looks like we have seen that trail. So City taking into the 2-story here. That's going to be our final elbow pad utilized, heading up towards the vault point, but nice blink there from Burio, just cutting City off. City not going to go ahead and take that vault. We do want to waste as much time as possible, and being stuck up here, it's quite a trek to the chair. Basement is here, though, so that is going to be a little bit risky. Yeah, I would say now we're probably at a draw just because getting out of basement is going to be an issue. But with 2 prime ciphers here, we're definitely we are going to have that cipher prime. Oh, we're actually going to go ahead and go straight for the pop here. Burio now in a position where he's not going to be able to use that. Yeah, I do believe that was a teleport switch here. He's not going to be able to use that teleport for another minute. So honestly, that was a really smart pop here because it means that Burrio's out of resources for a moment here. Doesn't have any survivor target to lock onto either. So he does have to just go ahead and commit into this corner for Mono P. Gate is open there from Rowley. City still on chair. We are a mercenary though, so we could definitely see a rescue be pulled off here at the last second. Mono P with that first puppet coming through here. I think Puppeteer can take a detention hit like this. Okay, yeah, Puppeteer can actually take a detention hit like that. That's, you learn something new every day. Wow. Yeah, we're going to see Mono P. Oh, and not quite able to get that flywheel off here. But City was rescued. We're still potentially looking at a draw. Are they close to that gate is a real question. No, it actually looks like they're hanging out above the basement, wanting Burio to just go ahead and teleport to that open gate. If Burio teleports, they're going to have to waste more time. If they want to secure this tie, they're going to have to waste more time. Rowley actually staying in the 2-story here, looking to give Tinnitus. Possibly trick Burio into thinking they might still be in basement? But the mind games here from these survivors. Burio's actually heading back towards the chair here. Rowley can move away from that 2-story here. Where is Dungeon is the real question. Because I think it's on the other side of the map. It's not in Godkai, no, but we are going to see the teleport go off, but City already in the gate, and it does look like Rowley's actually going to head right for that dungeon over at the, yeah, it looks like it's over near the walls there, on the other side of the map. But yeah, we're just going to go ahead, try to force City out of the gate. That was a little bit risky, but with detention out, not anything to worry about, and Rowley is going to be able to clutch dungeons. So just great teamwork there on the side of RC. Definitely, you know, to be expected from our second place team in the entirety of IDV competitive. Yeah, they really do just have great synergy, just the ability, you know, to kind of take that slow. You know, it was a draw. They possibly could have pushed it to a 3-man win, but, you know, with kind of that slow Cypher progress at the start, I do think they were kind of pushing for a draw here, kind of taking it a little bit slow. And, of course, we do have Peter up next. So, as long as the survivors are able to get a draw in round 1, it leaves it up to Peter to, you know, all he has to do is draw in order to tie. But looking at the containment here, I'm going to see that... That can't be 300 seconds of containment. Was that 300? No, what is that 300? Oh no, that's decoding. I'm very smart. Yeah, 300% decoding there from Rowley, 232% decoding there from Mono P. Just really carrying the decoding there, especially with City with that 44%. That does kind of, you know, leave it to a draw, kind of forcing those survivors. But the fact that they were able to kind of bounce between those ciphers, keeping up steady progress while also, you know, kind of not losing focus there, that's really the marker of a great team. Because, you know, a lot of the time, the general rule is to finish a cipher before you're done. But they were not finishing those ciphers. They were kind of running around, chipping away at those ciphers. Really not allowing Burio to really focus on any one target. So, yeah, and the use of Tinnitus there, you know, kind of the faith in yourself, the faith in your hiding spot to be able to just crouch just, you know, inches away from Burio. Kind of keep him in that area long enough for City to reach the gate. Just very smooth, very well done. Rowley doesn't fear God. I really don't think he does. But yeah, heading into the Survivor side, we did see no data there, unfortunately, for Gigenki, because he hasn't played in. I think he was a coach before, if I'm not mistaken. I would say he probably has a competitive track record, but I haven't done that research, so I will ask around and I will update later. But here with Sora for our team captain, we're going to have Prospector, Gardener, as well as Patient for our decided mains. I'm really curious as to what those badges are. I kind of just noticed those, but I guess I'll have to pay more attention to that. Do those show? Okay, those show up on everybody, it looks like. Do they have numbers on them? I can't read. But yeah, Monet here with Acrobat, Antiquarian, and Entomologist. Scars is a very, I would say, they're kind of a gamer team from my outside perspective, but they're kind of the anti-Zeta. They are, you know, kind of constantly at odds with Zeta because they have been, you know, perpetually number 1 and number 2. But I mean, we're gonna see that change this year. I'm like 99% sure we're gonna see that change. And if we don't see that change, it is what it is. But Takoyaki here with our dedicated rescuer, we're going to have, you know, this is our classic big 3, with the mercenary forward and the first officer. Okay, no, those things aren't the same. Sorry, these badges are, oh boy, that looks like a spam. Oof. Yeah, anyway. Oops. I hit the wrong thing. Alright, here we are. Alright, locking back in. We're going to see Peter. Peter, definitely, you know, up and coming. I think last IJL was actually his first competitive appearance ever. So he's really, really grown. He has really improved since his debut. I mean, he's always been crazy. He kind of came out the gate as one of, if not the, you know, arguably the best opera singer in, I would say, all of Japan League, possibly, you know, worldwide. You know, his opera singer is terrifying. I would say Peter's biggest kind of thing to contend with is the fact that he's very new. You know, I feel like something that a lot of people don't take into consideration, and this is something that's a little bit more visible in once we see, like, you know, main stage Koa, kind of comparing to the non-pro teams that come from, you know, Southeast Asia, Korea, and AEU, you kind of see it a little more there. But even with, you know, the new players in IJL, you do see a little bit of that stage fright. You see a little bit of, you know, it's a much different environment. And if you watch the actual stream itself, they're like 3 feet away from the crowd. Like, the crowd is right there. There's a lot less distance than you would see on, like, Koa main stage, where the crowd is a little bit farther away. But closer, they're very, very close to the stage here. So you're kind of sitting there and you're watching people cheer for you, like, in your face. It's a very different environment from just, you know, playing the game on your own. So that's definitely something that a lot of teams have to adjust to. I would say it's a little bit more relevant in the next matchup that we're going to see with AWG. Yeah, I mean, even that was with distance. That was with distance. So, but it's much more, you know, there's much more of that, I would say, in IJL, because they're right there. They're right on top of the stage. But yeah, AWG actually has a new hunter that came up from, I think it was AN in yeah, from AN. Irohasu went to AWG, which I'm I'm excited to see. I'm also very scared, because I miss Bruntel very much. But we'll get to that later. I'll put a pin in my AWG fanisms, for now. But inevitably, when I skip forward here, oh no, I hit the wrong thing. Yeah, this is the one problem with the way that I do things, is that I consistently will lose the stream because I will hit. Maybe if I turn, yeah, if I turn that off, it probably won't default to like sending me back 300 years on the video. But anyway, game one, round two, second half. That's what we're on right now. Thank you for bearing with me. But yeah, right now Peter's in a pretty good position. He's pretty comfortable here. He only needs to get a draw to draw the round. I mean, anything better than that, we're immediately going to clinch this first round for RC. But with Antiquarian, with Embalmer off the table here, Embalmer off the table here is very, very telling of the situation that we're in. You don't want Embalmer on the team. Embalmer, a little bit of a weaker character, but does tend to guarantee an escape because he doesn't, he gets a free rescue, whether that rescue is on himself or on somebody else. It's very good to take him off the table when the other team needs to get more than a draw, because they will lock him in to try and secure that extra escape, to try and, keep their team intact for as long as possible. We are going to see Wildling here. Wildling, obviously, great survivability while on board, a little bit high risk, high reward there. We're also going to see Gardener as well as Psychologist. So really going for the tanks. I was about to say, interesting that we haven't seen Puppeteer yet, but we're going to actually see Puppeteer locked in as our final ban here. So really not surprising, especially with the Psychologist coming through. The one drawback, or I would say the main drawback of Puppeteer is the fact that he can't heal. He can't be healed. So Psychologist does kind of bypass that, as well as I think Barmaid's the only other character that can bypass it. So yeah, very smart move there to ban Puppeteer. And yeah, Dancer, I would say Dancer's probably like, she's map dependent, but she is very high tier. We will almost definitely see Dancer in the next matchup with AWG. Kairu is, I would say, the craziest Dancer main out there. Also, sorry for assuming you were spam. I got thrown off by the by your introductory message, preppy person. But I'm glad that I'm bad at technology, so I didn't time you out. Oops. But yeah, who is Richard? Am I missing? Anyway, oh, yeah, I forgot he had a name, but I hope he does. I hope we have more survivors with decoding debuffs. I honestly have no idea what his kit is going to be, though, because I feel like, I mean, if anything, because he's... I mean, I feel like they haven't really been going off of the, like, job, or, like, the occupations for survivor skills lately. That's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see what Knight has going on. I really have no idea. He's like probably some kind of Shakespearean thing going on, yeah. Because a little bit not quite era accurate, but anyway, we are going to take a different approach heading into this match, though. It looks like we are going to head for Fort Stop this time, so a little bit more of a traditional start, I would say, for Peter, kind of going with what works. Burrito going with First Stop, high risk, high reward. It's a little bit less of a strong kiting area for the survivors, but with that coaster in the way, you don't really want to give survivors the free coaster at the start of the match, so heading for Fort Stop here, a little bit safer, even if it is a stronger kiting area than First Stop. But yeah, looks like we are actually going to be having double tide here from Aeroplanist and Wildling, so Scars is definitely taking the defensive approach heading into this, but heading into the match, we're going to see Sora taking the first chase here with Gardner heading all the way around fourth stop here, already going to drop that pallet just to get as much distance as possible, and immediately we are going to start off on the ciphers. So it's very interesting here because a lot of the time, excuse me, a lot of the time we have seen these opera singer matches be very, very procedural, but this is a completely different start to the opera singer match, and already we are going to see our first hit. Of course, it was on Gardner Bubble here, but under 40 seconds into the match, that's our first hit. So really, really strong trajectory here from Peter right out the gate. We're going to see our second hit here, still under a minute to go, and we're already at first presence. So immediately, we are, kind of out the gate running with Peter, and that's, very generally how these things go. Sora, unfortunately, not able to get, I would say, but were we looking for Bubble there? Because Bubble wouldn't have been up. Or was that meant to be a mind game? That was just a really, really unfortunate misstep there from Sora. I feel like there was a game plan there, and it just, it had to have been trying to bubble, but I don't think the bubble would have been recallable by then, or at the very least, it would have just come back online. That's unfortunate. And a relatively early chair here for Peter. We're going to see not bad cipher progress, though. We do have 3 ciphers very well on their way. And with double tide here, there's a lot of survivability that Gardner can kind of regain. We are going to see Monet just immediately exiting the area here. Sora is going to take a hit right away. Still haven't used that flywheel. We're kind of saving that flywheel, I would say, probably for the next chase. It will be interesting to see. They could go in for Takoyaki on tide. Or for the second tide and kind of just increase Gardner survivability as much as possible. Basement is here, but we're not going to go for it because Peter does want them to rescue. Peter's like, come on, come here. I want to get damage on you. I want you to rescue so that I can damage you, so that I can, snowball in the later stages of the match. Unfortunately, we are going to send the dash into cooldown there, but with only 5 seconds remaining, it's really not the biggest deal, especially since we are looking at a wildling. Takoyaki staying on this board for a pretty long time. It looks like we are going to just continue playing around the chair, wanting to waste as much time as possible here, but Takoyaki coming off the board here is going to take that hit just to secure that rescue. And we are going to see Sora back online. Nicely done with that bubble online, but unfortunately, Peter just not going to hit it. We do still have Flywheel. We do still have both Broken Windows and Knee-Jerk Reflex here, so a lot of resources to work with. And not quite able to get that Flywheel through. Just a little bit off on the timing there from Sora. And that is going to be our first survivor sent back to the manor. 2 ciphers remaining, though. Not a bad situation at all. That Tide Turner definitely bought a lot of time for these survivors, but we don't really have a final cipher that we're working on. It looks like we are going to opt to heal. We do have 2 survivors in need of healing, and Gagenki still has that shield up, so Psychologist obviously can still take 3 hits here, which is very good in this situation because we are looking at Psychologist taking the chase right into Godkite, though, so we do have quite a bit of resources to work with, especially since this side of the map hasn't been touched at all by the containment, so yeah, we are going to see that first hit go through. Ciphers are starting to be worked on, but we're going to see Teleport coming through right back onto Monet, who hasn't been healed yet. We do still have, we are going to see that hover coming into play. And that is going to be a very, very fast down. That is kind of the downside of Aeroplanist. You can buy just a little bit of time with that hover, but you need to be able to hover into a stronger area because, buying distance against an opera singer only buys you that distance, and that's a distance she can close very, very quickly. I would say Psychologist is probably, she's meta. I would say she's probably A tier meta, not like S tier meta, but she's definitely like, she's like situationally good, but like she's still very, very good, and especially against opera singer. If we're looking at like hard meta, she's very good against opera singer. So just in terms of like her ability to take 3 hits, but of course with that lack of kiting ability, as we're seeing here, it's a little bit unfortunate. We are going to see Gengeki get shared here. Basement obviously not here. It is back over in tent, but not the end of the world here. It does allow Peter to just continue this pressure across the map here. I was kind of talking at the start of this about how big of a map Moonlit River Park is, but Peter's been doing a very, very good job. And yeah, with those dashes, he just kind of has, you know, the instinct of how far that opera singer dash really goes. So yeah, unfortunately, not quite making it there, but it's very finicky. And I feel like they did kind of mess with the like the sensitivity of it, or like what it takes to actually get the shadow to not reset cooldown, however you would put it. But Monet taking the chase around the tent here. Once again, no one is really able to decode here. So we are, I would say at this point, we may honestly be looking, unless they're able to make their way back to a Cypher, this could be a 4-man elimination. Just like this. We are going to see Monet go down once again. Cypher still not being decoded. It does look like they are trying to make their way back. Okay, Takoyaki has hit a Cypher here, but Peter, seeing that Cypher shaking, is just going to go right back over, teleporting over to Wildling. And now Takoyaki does, I believe, does have Boar up. Unfortunately, hit out of the board, just getting on it a second too late, sending it back into cooldown, and Wildling doesn't have much to work with here. He does have the lowest run speed of any survivor with that debuff, and yeah, he's just going to get Terror Shocked and go down here. We could go for the slug game No, actually, we may just go straight for the chair. Peter confident that either confident that he knows where Genki is, or not too concerned with allowing a 3-man or with allowing a 1-man escape in this situation. But yeah, we could see a dungeon escape out of this, but because Psychologist is the only one left here, and once again, she doesn't have resources to work with anymore with that shield gone, no healing capability, stuck with that whistle here. We're gonna have to see how this goes, but it does look like a Genki heading back towards that chair here. If Peter can catch up, that's definitely going to be a game changer, but it doesn't look like he is going to. Just kind of hanging out on the side of the map. Does know where dungeon is, so that's going to be important for endgame here, but that rescue is going to go off. I would say here, though, it's only a matter of time until we end up with either a 3-man or a 4-man escape. I mean, a draw is very, very unlikely in this situation, but of course it is what Scars has to do. They do have to push for this draw here if they want to have a fighting chance, heading out of this first round. Which, I mean, not that they wouldn't have a fighting chance losing this first round, but it does put a damper on their points. It does mean that RC is going to decisively take the first round with a win, not with a draw. And yeah. But Takoyaki continuing to take the chase. Genki hasn't made his way back to... Okay, Genki has just made his way back to a Cypher. Peter missing the Terror Shock here, but is actually just going to go for the teleport here, looking to get down Psychologist, and yeah, there was absolutely nothing to be done there. That was, yeah, nothing to work with, just kind of caught in the open area. It was a very well-timed teleport as well, because, it did give Scar survivors only a split second to, communicate that teleport. It does look like Peter is actually going to go for the chair. Maybe go for the chair? Or we might see a drop incoming. Because there's not a chair right near the dungeon, so that is going to be... we're gonna be in the slug game here. Which is, it's normal. It's average, especially for a tournament match. I would say of this caliber, but rank in general is important enough to not allow a single escape and head in for the slug game. We are gonna allow Genki to struggle free, but no flywheel, no items. There's nowhere to run against an opera singer at that point. So, nicely engineered by Peter, though, making sure that Psychologist struggles free in an open area, not allowing her to reach a kiting area as she may have hoped. But Takoyaki on board here, not the greatest situation to be in. He is going to go ahead and play around the coaster here a little bit, but of course not quite able to take it just yet, especially being on that boar. We have quite a bit of time left on that boar as well, but yep, going for the first hit here, going for the second hit, just going to go ahead and take that pallet stun. But yeah, once again, you know, this is pretty much a 4-man elimination. We do still have self-heal on both survivors, and they can definitely, you know, stretch it. They can stretch this out. We are going to see Giganki go for that self-heal heading in towards the pallets, but yeah. I'm gonna just go ahead and speed this up for us. Did my music stop again? I don't know why it keeps doing that. But playback speed 2. Yeah, let's just speed run the rest of this because you know, it is kind of set in stone here. Let's say, yeah, with no sticker there, not enough crawling speed to really make it to the dungeon, and that is a 4-man elimination there. Yeah, I mean, I don't know actually how loud the music is, so I can try turning up. It's back on now, but I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. But hello, Jupi. You missed Opera Singer, so yeah, we did see Matthias. Yeah, I can try turning that up. Let me know if it's too loud, and if you can't hear me. It's my first time doing music on a stream, so yeah. If it's a good thing, then I'll keep it. If it's a bad thing, then I won't. That's kind of how I'm looking at it right now. But yeah, we are going to see Akka coming in for the second round here. Obviously, RC winning at a pretty significant margin. It's a 5-point lead, yeah. First half was a draw, and then we're gonna see that 5-0 here, looking pretty on the side of RC. So you can't hear it at all. I could try turning it up more. Is that too loud, or? It's just like, you know, copyright-free lo-fi stuff. I just don't want to make it too loud so that like it's overwhelming and you can't hear me. Because I mean, obviously you're not here for the music. But yeah. Okay. Yeah, I mean if it gets too loud, let me know and I'll turn it down. But we're experimenting. I'm interested to see if we do see Ivy in this round. I would say it probably depends on the map choice, which should be coming in soon. Question mark. I will admit that I didn't go and take timestamps for the start of this, which is my bad. But I did. Oh, okay. I think I skipped over the map pick entirely. But we are going to be on church. So that definitely does leave us open for a shadow, which I'm very interested to see. I was watching some non-professional tournaments earlier. IAL, IDV, Adeptus League. It's basically like it's a non-pro tournament for Japanese teams, and Ivy was being played in that, and I was like, oh, I feel like we're gonna see a nerf by the end of the season, especially with this double rescuer ban here. I feel like that's probably setting up for an Ivy, because Ivy, her rescue stuff is kind of ridiculous. Her rescue stuff capability is very, very strong. So I'm very excited to see what she's capable of in the hands of the pros. Especially since, you know, it's been very hard to see her lately. You know, she's very commonly banned. Okay, hey, there's that dancer that we have been looking for, as well as forward here. Forward definitely not a bad choice. I would be worried about a forward against the shadow, just because she does have a lot of anti-harassment to her. Aeroplanist as well, so we're looking for a little bit of distance. We are also going to ban Psychologist, so really looking to take the tanks out of the equation here. That's, yeah, and Barmaid's interesting. We wouldn't see a Hermit here, would we? We could see a Hermit here. I mean, it is Akka. Barmaid's a scary band there. If we could be looking at Hermit. But Seer locked in. We do have a very strong Survivor lineup here. Don't smile at me like that. I don't like that. I don't like its eyes. I feel like the Twitch emoji is also just kind of terrifying. But yeah, I mean, this could definitely be a Hermit match. I feel like if we're looking at, let's narrow it down to Hermit and Shadow. It's definitely not a bad team comp against either, but it's also not a good team comp against either. Both Hermit and Shadow do tend, okay. We are going to be looking at that Shadow. Yeah, I'm not surprised. I'm really not surprised. Her art also looks awesome, from here, but I mean, if there is a hunter, that Akka cannot play, then I would be very concerned, but I'm sure there is. Probably Lizard. Has Akka played? Akka's probably played Lizard. I know Shota used to play Lizard, or does play Lizard, so RC did have a Lizard at some point, but, yeah. I'm very excited to see, because I'm bad at the Shadow. I also have been playing majority Hunter, so I haven't seen her. So we're gonna go through this together. This is gonna be a learning experience for all of us on kind of what she's capable of. I know a little bit. I did play her when she first released, but she's too big brain for me. I play very simple Hunters, and you're gonna be like, but Bones, you play Hermit, and I'm going to say, yeah, but I don't play Hermit like I have a brain. I play Hermit like I'm just hitting things and praying for the best. My Hunter strategy is if I hit them enough times, they will go down, and then I will win. As soon as it gets a little bit more complicated than that, as soon as I have to keep track of two things at once, I'm like, I can't do that. I can't do that. But yeah, she seems very Dream Witchy. So I'm very excited to see kind of, yeah, like Dongshan, Sprinter. Actually, coming up here with Fav, I'm excited to see if Chicken pulls out anything crazy. Because Chicken has a crazy Dream Witch, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's gone, up the Ivy route. Insolence here on Ivy is interesting, but definitely not surprising. The thing with Ivy, is that her first chase, she's very first chase dependent, because she's I would say she's both presence-based and also, she's presence-based and, just kind of like snowball dependent. So she really needs to have like a first chase that counts. But yeah, we are going to see immediately Monet is going to take the Yith. And did the Yith just desync? Yeah, the Yith just desynced. Is actually going to head over towards Soar and get a, oh my god, okay. We're going very fast here. We're going to go with the Scare on Soar as well as the Yith attachment here. Looking to get to 100 of the eye stacks. And yep, that's immediately what's going to happen. So you're not able to use the Owl in that situation. I feel like in that case, you really do have to like preemptively Owl here. and look for an opportunity. But immediately we're going to, I feel like this is also a really good strategy, is just kind of yith as many people as possible to try and get, you're either wasting their time because they have to break them, or you're leaving things up for yourself later, and having those teleport points to return to. So just getting that map control here in the early stage of the game, really, really important here for Akka. And we're still keeping track of Sora, despite all of that, all of that target switching. We are still keeping track of Sora. We're going to go for the scare, not quite sinking yet. Oh, nope, we are going to go ahead and go for the sink here, and get up to 60 of the stacks on Sora. It's going to be very, very close. We are going to go ahead and preemptively owl there, which is I would say it's a little bit risky, especially since, we did have quite a bit of distance here. And yeah, with that stun, we are going to see our first down of the match. Yeah, wow. Oh, it's a very, very intense start to the match. Even so, it was a 2-cipher kite here, and we were able to get, at least a little bit of progress on the remaining ciphers, so not the worst situation to be in for Scars. Definitely not the worst situation to be in for Scars. She's a very, very snowball hunter. And the way that she snowballs, which we are possibly going to be about to see, is by stuffing rescues, or at the very least, having very, very strong rescue capability. It is a little bit unfortunate there. The angle of the stone there didn't really allow Akka to get a lot of stacks on there. That's a very long stun. Yeah, that was almost half the ball there from Takoyaki. So just, coming in hot, really looking to keep Akka's attention at the chair as long as possible. We're going to go for the double hit on Monet. It does look like we've kind of lost track of Sora, unless we haven't. Yith is going to head over towards Graveyard, which is where Sora has kind of retreated to. So I would definitely possibly expect Akka to know where that is. But we will see. We will see, I would say, sooner than later here. Monet, however, is going to go in the chair, and the recharge the cooldown, I would say, has run out, so we can place another Yith teleportation here if we so choose, but it looks like we have actually located Sora. Over in this corner here, we're going to go ahead and get the markup, and just not even going to waste any time switching targets here, and a blink! Immediately going to go for that down. Wow. Just the amount of control here from Akka, the amount of multitasking here is just absolutely incredible. We're going to head back over to the other side of the map. We're really stretching far, but this is kind of the appeal of Ivy over, something like a Dream Witch, is that you don't have a limit on the Yith. You can kind of do whatever you want. And going for the chair hit, but Takoyaki's stun did actually connect. That's a very long stun here. And I guess, a little bit unfortunate that it was on a chair hit. We're going to call back the Yith and push it back out again, teleporting over to Aeroplanist again, and the stun is active, but Monet is going to get out of that stun in time to use the jetpack. Unfortunately, we are in a bit of a position here. Yeah, that heavy hit is just going to go straight down. We are at 1 cipher remaining, so Akka does need to be careful here. However, we do have quite a bit of progress, or not quite a bit of progress, I would say. We have a bit of progress on that cipher, but we also have, the Yith is set up all the way across the map, and we are keeping an eye on all of these ciphers. Red Church, a very strong map for being able to do that. Really does kind of allow the hunter to have, not a lot of range to take care of, not a lot of range to really, have to cover. We are going to go ahead and break the box and immediately teleporting back to the chair. Monet not going to be able to be rescued here. And the Yith coming out once again. Final ciphers here are looking at 72% and 44%. But back on Sora, unless, no, it looks like we are going to head back towards Takoyaki. Near the dungeon here, I might add. But yeah, it's not going to be a good decision to teleport right now because Gigenki is hard at work on what could be this final cipher here. We're at 85%. We're going to just go ahead and park the main body over near the cipher. But looking at Gigenki, And that is going to be a down. We're not going to have a Cypher primed in time either because of this pressure that Ivy has been placing all around the map. Just it's insane. It's really, really insane. Just the pacing of this match. You know, we are going on 6 minutes in, but it has been, you know, swap after swap after swap, really taking advantage of the fact that, you know, apart from the cooldown on every individual survivor, there are hardly any cooldowns on the Shadow. You can teleport to your heart's content as long as there are survivors who are available to teleport to. And yeah, Akka doing a really great job of managing that. Sora going down here once again, and we are going to park the Yith back at the chair, it looks like. Unfortunately, oh no, we can actually Yith Gigenki if we do so choose, but it looks like we are actually going to go ahead and look for Takoyaki here. Akka is definitely aware of the dungeon being in this area, so a little bit hesitant to go ahead and share Sora just because, you know, we are operating under the knowledge that dungeon is here. Takoyaki is also in the area, but Takoyaki has been found here. Very little bit of ball remaining. But it does... Oh, did we accidentally teleport to the wrong stone? Not to worry. There is no cooldown on Ivy's stun. Or on Ivy's teleport. There's no cooldown on pretty much anything. I think she has like a, you know, a short cooldown on the scares, but other than that, there's not much that she really has to worry about. We're gonna go ahead and chair Takoyaki, immediately teleporting back over to Sora, who can't get an owl here, I might add, because looking at the Shadow immediately brings up your whatever that number is called. I should probably look up what that number is called. But yeah, that's a very kind of overwhelmingly smooth format elimination here from Akka. Yeah. Wow. Happy tournament debut to Ivy, I suppose. That's oof. Yeah, I would say we're probably looking at a nerf. That's just my thoughts. Oh, okay, it's corruption. Thank you. I try to get, you know, the terms as accurate as possible, but I also forget. But yeah, just looking at the stats from that match, what was even the containments? Okay, we did have... Oh, whoops. I misjudged. But yeah, I mean, you know, not a bad containment here from Sora, especially considering, you know, you are working with a seer who can't get a second owl, but that's just, you know, I would say we're looking at a nerf for Opera Singer. Look at that point differential as well, you know, that the double 4-man elimination here really, really hurting Scars, and this puts us in a position where, you know, if they're switching in Miraicon, are they switching in Miraicon? I would say we're gonna find out pretty shortly. But yeah, win conditions here, you know, we need a 4-man elimination to just continue to the next round and draw this round. So yeah, it does look like we are going to be swapping in Miraicon here for our round 2, which is really, really weird to say, if I'm being so honest with you. But yeah, that's just, it's something. Thank you. Yeah. What a set of matches here, you know. And I'm running out of things to say just because, like, I haven't seen Ivy gameplay before on a professional level, so it's like, oh, this is new. This is a new thing that's happened. But I mean, I feel like, you know, I feel like she's going to get nerfed, but I also wonder what I mean, like, what would a nerf be? I would say longer cooldown on the teleportation, not able to teleport one after the other. They increase the amount of time that it takes for her to get out of the animation when she teleports, but I mean, as we just saw, you know, that doesn't really make much of a difference when you can infinitely teleport. Or I think there's there's a cooldown on each individual stone. I believe, for the teleportation. But once again, you can place infinite stones with a short cooldown on each individual survivor. But I feel like kind of the convolutedness of Ivy is very difficult to kind of try to explain, especially like concisely for a commentary basis. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there are anti-Ivy strategies. I mean, if you're able to get her to overextend, if you don't clump up, kind of managing, I guess, how the survivors work, but at the same time, you're working with a hunter who is engineered to spot out like the weak link of the team. You're working with a hunter who, if she doesn't like the chase, she can just go and find another one in just a matter of seconds because the Yith is so fast. Her teleport speed is so fast. She doesn't have to move. Like, I feel like maybe because the main body does move when you move the Yith, but it doesn't move that much. I feel like maybe if there was a range, kind of like how Dream Witch works, I feel like because she kind of is just like rangeless Dream Witch, I feel like. I mean, obviously, there's only one of her. There's not two of her, but, like, she still has anti-stun. She's still, playing her does feel like calculus. I'm gonna use that from now on. That's a very good, it's a good, metaphor. But, yeah, it's, oof. I somewhat worry about the state of the meta, especially since Ivy's not good in low tier. Or it's very difficult, I would say. Like, she's very, very difficult to play. I would say she's even more difficult than Dream Witch, just because, there's a little bit less forgiveness with her. I mean, there's less and more forgiveness. I feel like it really depends on the map. If you don't know what you're doing with her, she's very difficult. Once you know, I feel like it's kind of like if Mad Eyes became like hard meta all of a sudden, and all of the hunters knew how to play Mad Eyes. It kind of feels like that, which I guess it makes sense that Akka is so crazy with her. With that in consideration, but yeah, Gamekeeper nerf. I forgot. I feel like Gamekeeper nerf wasn't really feelable. That's not the word that I'm looking for, but it wasn't as consequential as I think it could have been. Like, it didn't absolutely destroy him, but it definitely, I feel like on a professional level, it'll put a dent. It hasn't affected my gameplay, which is why I'm like, it was nothing, but it was definitely something. Yeah. Yeah. I'm glad that they've moved on from, like, outright destroying every hunter that's meta and kind of, like, softened up and being like, okay, like, we'll have, like, a long description for this nerf, but it doesn't really mean anything. But I feel like Ivy definitely needs some significant nerfs. But heading in here, we are still on Red Church here. We've got Puppeteer and Seer as our global bans. Immediately going to lock in that Priestess and Merc ban. So not wanting to see either of those. First Officer, I would say, is definitely viable here. We could maybe see a Wildling, but I don't think so, especially since we are probably looking at... For Mirror Icon, I would say we're probably looking at... because Opera Singer has been banned, we're looking at Dream Witch, we're looking at potentially Shadow. But once again, Mirror Icon is a round 1 hunter, so seeing what he's up to outside of that round 1 kind of... Oh, that's so cute. I love when they show the fan merch. But... Coordinator here as well. I feel like, yeah, Seer being locked off here, and you know what I'm surprised, well, I'm not surprised that we haven't seen him, especially with how the meta has changed, but he didn't get a nerf. But you know who we haven't seen yet is Novelist. He's been kind of missing, especially after how often we were seeing him in Koa. I feel like that's kind of a shift, I would say less in the meta and more in the preferences. of the survivors in situation, but we could see a novelist locked in here. But I would say with the threat of Ivy, we're not going to see a novelist. Nope, we're actually going to go ahead and see a cheerleader. Would not be surprised if that. Yeah, I mean that's going to go to. Actually, no, it could go to Mono P. Mono P being here is, you know, it doesn't necessarily throw things. Okay, we're actually going to see Mono P on the cheerleader, but having 3 to 4 very, very strong kiters on RC now, you know, it makes it a little bit less predictable who's going to get which. But it does actually look like we're seeing Rowley fall into more of a support role this season, so that's going to be something to study. You know, playing the Seer last round, playing Psychologist this round. He's definitely a strong enough kiter to make Psychologist really work, but it's an interesting change of pace, especially after how aggressive we were seeing him play in Koa. It's interesting to kind of see, you know, the new RC synergy. And, you know, as we kind of have been saying, Rowley definitely has a more than deep enough survivor pool to really make it work. But I'm apprehensive of who Miraikon is going to choose here, because we could go with Dream Witch. We could also go with another Ivy, but okay, we're gonna see another Ivy. This is good. This is good because it means that I get to become more familiar with her. I feel like it's a little bit like opera singer kind of being, you know, overwhelmingly there in IVL, IJL last year, you know, when Opera Singer was first introduced to competitive. I'm feeling like that again, where it's like, yeah, we're gonna have a lot of repetitive matches, but it familiarizes both us with the Hunter as well as the survivors with the Hunter. So this is definitely Ivy training camp, especially for group stage. I would say once we start nearing the end of group stage, we're either going to see less or more of her, depending. Teams are going to kind of find their stride with her, but right now I feel like everybody's kind of testing the waters with her, and kind of seeing, you know, what she's capable of. And I mean, as we saw, she is very, very, very strong. And she definitely has that 4K potential that a lot of hunters are lacking. Which is kind of, you know, that's the main problem with the meta at this point, is that, you know, a lot of, or I guess most of the hunters at this point are draw guarantees, but not win guarantees. And a lot of the time, you know, draw guarantee hunter can get 3 escaped. And then what do you do? But heading in, we're going to see Miraikon spawning in the graveyard here. Not going for that plus formation that the RC Survivor set up. It is interesting, though, that they did kind of leave that middle open. It's a bold strategy there to leave the middle open. Generally, survivors don't want to leave the middle open just because that gives the hunter kind of free reign of who to pick. It doesn't really lock them into any corner, but Miraikon spawning in the corner anyway. It does kind of leave him very close, and kind of lined up with 2 of those survivors there. We are going to see the return of that insolence here. Once again, Ivy is very, very first chase dependent. Definitely makes sense to bring insolence on here because you need to be aggressive. And it's very capable to be aggressive with her, as we just saw. So very exciting stuff here. But heading in here once again, Scars needs a 4-man elimination here. And there is no other option for them. But yeah, we are going to force out the Pocket Watch right away here from City, already getting a little bit of that corruption on him. But changing targets here, it looks like we're going to head towards the middle of the map. Survivors have already started their decoding, and Rowley is potentially going to take this first chase here. We're going to get the Yith on him, but no, Yith is actually going to move on immediately and lock on to Cheerleader. We're going to not actually head towards any of those survivors. We're going to head back for the Yith and try to head towards Soba, but Soba moving away from that Cypher here. No trace of him in this area. Going to catch up in the graveyard here. Coordinator here, not the worst situation to be in. I mean, she does have her gun. However, she does have, you know, her gun. Only one gun, but she can definitely make that count. Doesn't need to look behind her. Doesn't really need to do anything consequential to really kite a shadow. But we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So, taking the chase here. A lot of progress on those Cypher machines, though, and I think that's the main thing that's really setting this match apart from how Aka's match was going, is that, you know, we are looking, you know, we're looking at already a 3 Cypher kite here, and we haven't gotten our first hit. Okay, we have gotten our first hit just now, about 1:40 minutes in. So that's a very slow first hit. But Soba continuing to take the chase. We can definitely cut it short here, especially if we're able to get that scare in. We've got plus 10 corruption there onto Soba. And Miraikon trying to cut him off, it looks like. Heading for this side of the graveyard. Not quite. It doesn't look like we quite were able to get that scare, and not able to get that scare either. We are going to try and keep Soba in this area, looking for that max corruption stun. Unfortunately, getting caught on the other side, but Soba not able to get out of that stun in time, and that is going to be our first down. But 2 ciphers remaining here. That was a very, very, very long first containment here. We're looking at about 2.5 minutes into the match here. We've just gotten our first share. Now, Ivy can definitely snowball. That's the thing. Ivy's definitely a snowball hunter. If RC ends up scuffing this rescue, then this can definitely change directions in about an instant. We are going to see Miraikon heading around the map here, trying to just continue to disrupt this decoding, cutting off all of these survivors, forcing them to deplete the stones instead of decoding. We're going to switch over to Rowley here, actually, letting that tide run its course, not really wanting to deal with it right now. We are going to switch back to the Yit, though. It looks like we are going to set up a teleport back over to the... yeah, to Soba. Soba did end up heading back towards that Cypher. And I would say we could see a Yith sync sooner or later. But Mono P, we're gonna use the camera trick with the Yith, it looks like, and just kind of trying to keep that pressure on Soba. Soba unfazed here, though. Mono P heading towards Soba, actually, which honestly isn't a bad idea. We could definitely see some cheerleader harassment coming in very, very handy, towards this late stage of the match. But Soba just keeping it up. We're at 80 stacks of corruption here. It's going to be very, very dangerous and very difficult to get out of. But Miraikon missing the heavy hit. Ivy does actually have a really good heavy hitbox, which is why we're seeing it happen so much. But Miraikon is going to get that second down here. Ciphers are nearly done. We've got one Cypher about primed at 98% here. Another Cypher at... looks like we are just going to go ahead and pop that one. Are we at that Cypher, though, is the real question. It does look like Rowley may have moved away from it, but is back at it here. And we're going to see the Yith actually heading into the area. We could just go for the Cypher pop, and it looks like that's exactly what's going to happen. We got a 4-man endgame here. My bad. We have a 4-man endgame here. Doesn't quite matter that they're all at full health, just because, you know, we aren't working with any mercenaries. Everybody is going to go down to a detention hit. We're going to use that blink here, and Soba is going to go down. But again, Miraikon needs a 4-man elimination in this situation, and that gate is nearly open. But are they going to be able to make it there in time? Yes, that gate is open. Do we have a 3-man escape? I don't think City is at the gate. It actually looks like we are moving away from it, question mark. Rowley heading for dungeon here. Once again, it looks like Mono P as well in the area. They do have an open gate, though. So... kind of running around this endgame here. We've got Rowley heading towards, I believe the open gate is there. I'm actually not sure, though, which gate is the open one. It might be reception. Alright, we've got other 2 survivors at the gate, so guaranteed draw here. This is going to be the win for RC. Whether or not Rowley goes down here, and Rowley is going to go down. So that is going to be a draw here, but nonetheless, that is going to be a very, very decisive victory here for RC. And yeah, with just a standout performance here, that really is going to show, you know, she's not broken. Ivy's not broken. It's just a matter of, you know, the hunter who is harnessing her. And that, yeah, just incredible work there. I am going to take a quick break before we head into the next match with FAV Gaming versus AWG. And yeah, I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. All right, let's get back into it. Heading on to AWG versus Fun and Victory. Well, I guess if I'm referring to everybody with their full names, it's gonna be Arneb with World of Gaming and Fun and Victory. But yeah, I'm excited to see FAV again. It's been quite a while since we've last seen FAV Gaming, so I'm very excited to see, you know, they made a few changes to their rosters. AWG as well has made some pretty significant changes. So I'm very, very excited. Looks like we are going to be looking at AWG first here. Kairu, as always, is going to be our definitive team captain here. Dancer main, very, very fun to watch. He was actually on RC originally, so, you know, that kind of gives you an idea of the energy that AWG brings to their matches. But standing out here from AWG, we've got Tawashi. Oh, okay, we're gonna just move right on from that. I'm gonna go back so I can actually talk about it. There we go. Yeah, we're gonna see Tawashi there on the end. Was actually Namako. I don't quite remember the non-pro team that he was from. However, he did change his name in order to not be confused with Namiko, which I find a little bit entertaining. But he is now known as Tawashi. And then we've got Irohasu, who was a hunter for AN back during Koa qualifiers. I would say, yeah, so he's going to be our round 1 hunter. Brontel, unfortunately, did have, I think it was academic commitments, so he's currently taking a break, question mark, from competitive. I hope he comes back because he was undisputably one of, if not the best opera singer in Japan League. You know, like very, very up there with Peter, up there with Mirai Khan, up there with Burio. Just such a strong opera singer. So he will be forever missed, but I'm excited to see what Yorohasu does. AWG actually was a non-pro team, just under, I think, yeah, they were just under World of Gaming. And then they were sponsored, I believe I think they were sponsored last year, and became an official team. So they've grown a lot. They made it to Koa, and yeah, I'm very excited to see them. And Fav Gaming as well. They lost their Hunter Kruger, who you may remember for the awesome hair. Unfortunately, I think he retired as well. Chicken still, oh my god, they're going through this so quickly. I think, is Riz new? I think Riz might be new. But who is new on, anyway. I think Fav got, is Yami new? I think Yami might be new, actually. Or at least like a transfer from somewhere else. They lost the sub member, but they didn't lose anybody who was actually, Yami was always there? Okay, well, it's been a while. It's been a minute since I've seen Fav actually play. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm remembering him from. But Chicken, I'm very excited to see again. Chicken actually took an academic break during Koa qualifiers, and it was felt. It was really, really felt. So I'm glad to see Chicken back. Chicken has a really strong Dream Witch. So I'm hoping that we get to see some opera singer, or not opera singer, my god. I'm hoping that we get to see some Ivy from him. We're going to see Kairu here with the bow, with the box animation there, which I only just figured out, or I was only just told that the cheese grater thing that he does is the music box. I always thought it was a cheese grater. Like, you know, like the kind that they have at Olive Garden. You know what I mean? Like when they come over to your table and they're like, do you want any cheese? And you're like, yes. But okay, yeah, we are going to have Chicken here for our round 1 hunter. I hope it's not just round 1. I really like Chicken. Chicken is one of my favorite hunters, not just because of the name. He's a really, really strong Dream Witch. And I feel like we haven't seen him enough. Because Kruger was kind of the definitive hunter for Fav, especially, and then in Koa qualifiers, Chicken wasn't even able to make it. So yeah, I'm very excited to see him come back, and see him perform here. So yeah, exciting stuff. We're going to see Namako. Namako, such a strong, AWG survivors are crazy. AWG survivors are really, really strong. We've got Namako here on the harassment with that prospector, antiquarian, gardener as well, but I would say Namako's really, really known for that harassing. Yeah. This is going to be, this is why I said, I was like, I feel like this is going to be a long, I feel like there's gonna be some long sets, just because AWG also has a reputation for tying a lot. I think it was actually their first. Don't say that. I think that their first match in Fall IJL last year, 2023, was against RC, and it went to 4 rounds overtime. Like, what it was 4 rounds, and then they won by like time. In round 4 by like a handful. It was like 11 seconds or something like that. Like AWG is notorious for tying. So yeah, I expect this to be a long one, but it's gonna be a fun one if anything. We're gonna have Ace here as our designated, I would say forward, definitely is kind of his specialty. But of course, sub-rescuers as well. And Tawashi, first match here in a competitive league, so we don't have any data for him yet. That's obviously going to change. I believe I remember him also playing Harasser though, so we're gonna see what his role is now, because obviously Namako's kind of kept that mantle here, so I'm excited to see what Tawashi has to kind of offer. I do think that AWG was missing some members in person. I don't think Scorpion was able to make it in person, and I think one other wasn't able to make it in person, but I don't remember who. But either way, we are going to have Kairi here rounding out the lineup with that dancer, entomologist, and coordinator. Very, very strong kiter, very strong support as well. Just such a fun survivor to watch. I like AWG a lot. I like it when survivors, I like it when survivors have fun. As much as a hunter main that I am, I like it when survivors have fun. I like it when they don't take things too seriously, and kind of just, they're there for the ride. Although, of course, I mean, I feel like Zeta's kind of like this, but Alpha's under so much stress all the time that it kind of cancels out. And I just feel bad. But yeah, moving on to Chicken here. Chicken, happy to be here, it looks like. Happy to be back on stage. So yeah, survivors are much more fun to watch than to play against. I'm echoing that sentiment. That's for sure. I've been like halfway trying to get my badges back this season. I've been grinding Lizard. I took a couple seasons off. I was playing a lot of Hermit, and then I was offered a Dreamwalker account. So we are so back. Once we're kind of out of the competitive trenches, I'll probably go back to streaming more Hunter gameplay. I do have some matches that I need to record and post. Probably I'll just like post them on Twitter. But oh, Naiad. That was pretty good. That was actually pretty good. I love it when they imitate the animations. It is one of my favorite things. Rowley does it a lot. Rowley does it has done it for years. Imitating the animations. But yeah, that was Kokua was his name, the FAV coach. That was pretty good. That was pretty good. I'll give him that. Yeah, the minute-long Rowley compilation of doing all the animations. I think my favorite ones are the Bonbon ones, personally. He did a very good impression. I'll see if I can find it, and then I'll retweet it later. If I don't, I'll write this down so I don't forget, because 99% of the time when I say I'm gonna do something on stream, and then I'll do it later, and then I don't. My pen is dying. Okay, we're good. Wrote down to find the Rowley compilation. But yeah, I'll post that on Twitter later if I don't forget again. But yeah, I'm excited to see, because we're seeing, kind of two Rowley being funny on stage compilation, not not actually playing games. But that is the most fun thing, I think, about having, the in-person competitions, is that we get to see, a little bit of goofing off on stage. But I mean, I find it entertaining. I always find it entertaining. Inevitably, when I skip forward here, hey, that was actually perfect. But yeah, heading into the first half of round 1 here. Oh, you found it? Thank you. Please send that to me so that I can post it. But yeah, okay, we're gonna have actually double Rescuer ban here right off the bat. I almost wonder if we could see a round 1 Ivy pick with that double Rescuer. That would be really interesting to see, honestly. Round 1 Ivy instead of Opera Singer, but we're gonna see Puppeteer locked in here, as well as Wildling, so really looking for these tanks. We're going to see Aeroplanist as our 3rd ban, and Seer locked in as our 3rd. So with that, I would say we're not expecting the the Shadow, we're expecting more of an opera singer. Also with Puppeteer, we're expecting the opera singer. But I feel like Chicken could kind of pull something out the back. Pull out the Shadow, and I feel like it wouldn't be the worst choice. Now, we are on Leo's Memory. That is kind of a tenuous map here. For... Are they just, like... Am I stupid, or are they, like, not showing us the map ban picks? Because either I'm completely missing it, or they're just not showing it to us. But... Because they showed it to us once, and then I just kind of... Either I might be missing it. I mean, I will take full responsibility for that. I constantly miss things. But... Yeah, anyway. Yeah, once those persona webs are selected, we are going to see who Chicken's Hunter is going to be. I would expect an opera singer, but I would not be surprised at all if we end up seeing the Shadow coming into play, because, yeah, I mean, a very, obviously, very, very formidable... Okay, yes, we actually are going to see her round one, so this is I'm very excited about this. A little bit of changing it up, you know, breaking the opera singer curse that has plagued us for, like... I don't even know how long it's been now. Probably almost a year, right? I mean, I don't... When did Opera Singer even release? I mean, it would have been IJL Autumn was when, so almost a year. Probably like 9 months or so. Anyway, I can't do math. Live on stream, but yeah, I'm very excited to see round one Shadow. That's gonna be fun. This is gonna be really, really fun, especially since it kind of it takes Seer out of the consideration here. Not so much. I mean, we could definitely still get a lot of teammate support with Seer. The problem is that, you know, once that owl is gone, that owl is gone. Puppeteer as well might struggle. It's really going to come down to the timing on the timing on the puppet. That's really going to be kind of dependent on how Namiko can really operate. But yeah, it's risky. It's really, really risky here. And I would say that the risk of Shadow is also why we're not seeing that Novelist coming back around. We're not seeing, you know... I mean, we are seeing Seer. We're not really seeing Novelist as much. I feel like Novelist... I kind of miss seeing Novelist. He's fun to watch. But I feel like without Gamekeeper, we're seeing a little bit, or without the threat of Gamekeeper as much anymore. We're not seeing him as much. But heading into round one, first half here, FAV versus AWG. We're going to see, once again, that Insolence is coming through on Chicken. And heading right towards Seer, it looks like. Really, really good option for first chase here, though. Watanuki. Sorry, now that I actually know one of the crossovers that IDV has, because I really don't know any of the other ones, it's always kind of a jump scare to see it. But, okay, no, we're actually going to go ahead and keep an eye on Namiko here. We're not going to quite sync just yet, but we're going to have a little bit of pressure in that area. We're going to... Okay, there we go. Now we're going to pick up the pressure, put a Yith on Namiko, call it back here, and looking for another target. It looks like we might be trying to Yith all of the survivors here before we actually start committing. But Ice here is going to have that boar already coming out very early on. That's a little... I feel like it's a little risky. To go on that board right away. But heading right back towards Seer here, and we're going to go for the teleport. That's really showing how long that teleport animation is. Right there. Where, you see how Chicken just got a little bit stuck there. I'm gonna try and play the mind game here, but Tawash just far, far away at this point. Knows very well that, the moment you look back at the hunter, that the corruption stack's immediately going to go up. So Seer in a really quite dangerous position. But I mean, look at these ciphers. We're looking at like Hermit cipher progress right now. Nicely done on that blink. We still have that corruption stack to work with here on Seer. Seer does still have an owl, but with the blink, yeah, that's just not going to go through. A little bit risky with the heavy hit though. Especially with the... I feel like... I don't remember if they reduced the amount of time that it's stunned for, but it's not as long as it seems. It's both longer and shorter. I mean, I've seen, instances where the stun is just not long enough and then the survivor is able to kind of use their item in time. But very nicely done there from Chicken. We're looking at about 1.5-ish, or I guess probably closer to 2 minutes on that first chair. And just so much pressure around this map. We do have our first Cypher decoded here. A lot of Cyphers do have progress on them, though, so that's definitely something that AWG can come back around and kind of recuperate. But it's not going to be easy for them to do that, especially with... We are going to go ahead and get the double hit on Wildling here. Heading back towards the middle here, we do need to find where Tawash has gone to. It doesn't look like we have... Yeah, I don't think we have Nostalgic here. So unfortunately not quite able to keep direct track. Looks like we are just going to go ahead and grab Ace up before he's able to heal up. But we have gotten eyes on Seer. Did we see Seer? I think we saw Seer. Okay, yes, we did catch sight of Seer there. I got a little worried there that we didn't, but... Yep, we are going to go ahead, get that teleport in, and that's going to be just a very fast down. And as you can see, there's just no chance to use that owl. Like, not even that Towashi isn't using it. He's just not able to call it out at all because of the stuns. Because, like, you can't do anything when you're in that stun. And, just not quite... I feel like... It's always risky because you can prematurely owl, but all you're going to accomplish with that is just allowing the Ivy to wait it out. So it's just very, very, very risky to kind of manage here. But we are going to get the Yith area up, and yep, that's going to be another fast hit. Just really unfortunate that owl is just not able to be used, but that is the risk of going with Seer in round 1, especially with the Ivy, the Shadow on the table. It's, it is what it is in that situation. And that is going to be our first elimination here. Having Wildling injured here is also pretty good, especially... Okay, yeah, it looks like we are gonna keep up the chase on him, getting Seer into that chair, and it looks like... Are we going to just go ahead and teleport right away? Maybe, maybe not. We could. Ace did manage to get back on the board, though, so we may want to just wait that out. Heading back over towards Kairu, it looks like... Who is breaking, excuse me, or did break the stone, but it's no matter. We are going to get our first hit in there. Unfortunately, no gun able to come out as well. We're really, really working with these stuns, with the stacks of corruption here, trying to avoid allowing these survivors to use any of those skills. I mean, the only survivor who's been able to use skills here is Wildling, and even then, it's Wildling. And yeah, that's just unfortunate. Going to go right down to that pallet. Shadow does have a very, very fast and very precise hitbox. It's a little bit small, it's a little bit of, another shitbox, but it's still very, very usable. It's a lot like Opera Singers in that regard. I think it's a little bit wider on the front. Her heavy hitbox is really good, though. She has a really wide heavy hitbox, and I think that her basic hit, too, has like a very kind of a geisha thing going on with the edges of it. Yeah, it's interesting. It hits when you don't want it to. Or it hits very kind of unpredictably. But we are going to play around this chair just a little bit. Oh! Namako able to take that body block here and is going to manage to get back on that boar. Yeah, if Namako didn't take that body block, that would have been immediately Ace down. But we're at 1 cypher remaining here, but all of the survivors have at least 1 hit on them, so it's really dangerous position to be in. Namako especially, just kind of caught out here, 3/4 damage, not able to use that Puppeteer skill, and heading towards the chair. We're going to backtrack towards Kairu here, hard at work on the cypher. Are we going to be able to use that gun is the real question here. If we go for that teleport, are we going to be able to use the gun? It doesn't look like we're actually going to go for it. Looks like we're going to just stay at the chair, knowing that because the stone is there, Kairu's not going to be able to decode until that's gone. So that puts a little bit of a damper on the coding as well. Waiting for Wildling here. I do think something that's interesting is that we're not... Can you? Because I think you can... I think you can, like, leech the Yith to the person on share. But I'm honestly not sure. We are going to see Wildling getting off the board here. We don't... Oh, we're going to go for the blink and the fall hit! I was going to say Cypher's not primed here. It's a little bit risky to try and go for that rescue, but that's exactly what happened, and just not anticipating that blink there from Chicken. Really nicely done. We're going to just go ahead, drop A's here, looking for this 4-man elimination. Coordinator still has gun, but at this point, you know, we're looking at a 4-man elimination here again. And yeah, I feel like it is, you know... It really does come down to the Ivy skill at this point. It's a lot like kind of beginning era opera singer, where, you know, she was overwhelmingly strong until, you know, you hit somebody who wasn't quite mastering her, and then it was over. But, you know, when you see the good Ivy, it's like, oh, okay. I see why this is. But Chicken here just kind of taking his time, trying to avoid... Not only trying to avoid the... Oh, but we are going to get the stun in here, and yeah, that gun is not going to be able to go off at all. Really smart use of kind of that juking there. I think it's holding down... It's holding down, like, some Yith button. And oh, Wildling actually scared out of the boar! And just going to go straight down once again. Just incredible control here from Chicken. It's genuinely impressive to see, because, I mean, it's not easy. It's absolutely not easy to play her like this. You know, the amount of switching, the amount of just focus that it takes. And we're going to go right back to Kairu here. Are we going to be able to use that gun? Even if it's useless here, are we going to be able to at least get the gun out? And it's a question of maybe? Chicken just kind of wiggling around here, trying to... I feel like using the camera angle to try and look, or to try and get Kairu to look. We're going to try and go for the scare. I think we're going to try and go for the second scare before really committing to this. Trying to line up... And yes, that's exactly what's going to happen. Just denying the use of that gun. And yeah, that's a 4-man elimination. They should surrender soon. They should surrender probably now-ish? Okay, yeah. There we go. Oh, no! Wait, what? Is that it? Okay, that's it. Yeah, AWG does always put up a fight, but of course, you know, sometimes it just is. And yeah, just an absolutely incredible performance there from Chicken. I'm really anticipating an Ivy nerf sooner or later, because once you can exploit her lack of cooldowns, there's really, you know, there's nothing to be done. And the fact that she can prevent the usage of items like that is just crazy. But, I mean, you know, 112 seconds of containment there from Coordinator, no gun. You know, not even able to use the gun, not even able to think about using the gun. And I think, yeah, I think Puppeteer used the puppet... Puppeteer used the puppet once? But other than that, the only survivor who was able to use an item was Wildling. And that was, you know, Wildlinging it. And even then, yeah, even then, it's just... Wow. Goodbye, Joopy! Thank you for coming, thank you for watching, and thank you guys for also coming here and watching and being here. Yeah, I'm hoping I might stream tomorrow. We will see, because I work tomorrow. But I'm gonna try and keep up as best as possible with IJL, but I am pretty busy right now, so we'll see how much I'm able to do that. Hopefully, I mean, I'll at least try to get the notable matches, and if there's any matches, hello, please load. If there's any matches that you guys see and you're like, Bones should stream this one, let me know, and I'll do it. But yeah, I don't know. I work I might be able to catch some of the matches live at work because I am working like at shit fuck o'clock right now. So I'll probably be able to keep up a little bit that way, but obviously I can't stream when I'm working at 5 in the morning. But yeah, anyway, moving on to FAV Survivors here. We've got a journalist on that lineup here. I would definitely be excited to see. We've seen journalist a couple of times. I think Fennel actually pulled her out, if I'm not grossly misremembering. But I'm pretty sure Fennel pulled her out in last IJL, or might have been Koa qualifiers, one of those. I remember Unpi playing her is what it is. But we haven't seen a lot of journalists. I would honestly be interested to see if journalist ends up maybe finding a niche sooner or later, because she is useful. It's just a matter of being able to use her. But she can be annoying. She can be very, very annoying, especially against, you know, someone like an Ivy. You basically lock off entire palettes. And you can, you know, kind of afford to palette him. I think the one thing with journalists that's going to be difficult against an Ivy is the fact that she does kind of end up looking behind her inadvertently while placing the baby. So that would be hard to work around. But other than that, maybe we could find a niche for journalists. I don't know. I want to see her more. I want to see her played more so that she actually gets a skin. I mean, she is gonna get, like, she's gonna get deduction star, but like, please, journalist gotcha A tier. That's the only like skin distribution thing that I'm gonna like die on the hill on. I don't care who gets skins 99% of the time. I also really hope she gets something for global anniversary, especially since like we are still gonna be working with like the whole inference hostage situation. Don't get me on lore things. Don't get me talking about lore things. I won't stop. I really won't stop. I'm very excited for anniversary, guys, if you can't tell. But yeah. Anyway, kind of talked over the majority of FAV Survivors, but interesting to see the lawyer here still. I feel like lawyer's kind of come and gone at this point. He's still a very strong character, but I feel like he's stronger for like solo queue. He's a very strong rank survivor. I feel like he's less strong in he's definitely strong in tournament, but you know, there's just other survivors. We're going to see Urahasu here with unfortunately no data, just because, you know, it's his first time playing in competitive, but opera singer's probably going to be on the table here for this first round. We could possibly see an Ivy, but I do think we've only seen opera singer from Urahasu. So, and I mean, he was definitely brought onto AWG because of his round 1 potential. Yukakina is a round 2 hunter, so yeah, exciting stuff. I always love the like beginning of IJL for this reason, because, and I mean IVL as well. We've had a lot of team switch ups with IVL, and I really hope that that should start. I think that starts next week, if I'm not mistaken. So I mean, yeah, I am gonna be kind of juggling IVL and IJL. So once again, I mean, if you guys have matches that you want me to stream, tell me and I'll stream it, because otherwise I might miss it. But yeah, there's been a lot of roster changes in China. There's been a lot of esports drama. There's been a lot of stuff going on there. There's been like minimal going on with Japan League. I feel like Japan League's a lot more stable. Mostly because everybody's kind of been on teams with each other before, so everybody kind of knows. Well, everybody's been on teams with each other before in China. It's just, it's a little bit more tense because it's a lot more serious, because it's so established there. And I mean, it's also very, very serious and established in Japan, but I feel like it's a lot different. It's a much different scape. I feel like there's a lot more teams. I mean, the fact that RC came in second this year really speaks a lot to like, you know, how being more of a casual personality can really work out, as opposed to, you know, how very, very focused a lot of the other professional teams are. But that's enough spitballing about about everything, I guess. We're going to head into the second half of round 1 here. We've got Irohasu debuting as our AWG Hunter, and we've got Appai, Dacho, Nerisu, and Felix making up our FAV lineup. Felix is the team captain for FAV Gaming as well. So yeah, I'm mostly just interested to see if we end up here with a with another opera singer. Because I mean, like, I'm gonna anticipate that from Irohasu, but you know, we are gonna see Seer and Embalmer get banned here. It's a little bit interesting here. I feel like that's definitely, I mean, Embalmer, obviously you don't want FAV to get enough escapes, but okay, we actually are gonna go with that lawyer here. We're kind of, it's like a throwback meta here, throwbacking to like beginning of autumn competitive season with that lawyer pick. Acrobat as well. Acrobat being locked out here is really interesting. I feel like, I mean, he's definitely very, very viable pick. He's a very strong pick. He's not a pick that I disagree with, but locking him out first here means that we're not going to be able to choose him again. Now, obviously, Survivor roster is more than big enough to allow for that, but I feel like, I don't know, it's a very interesting pick here. Because you wouldn't really anticipate an Acrobat ban in this situation necessarily, especially, you know, with Puppeteer on the table, which we are going to see for our third ban. I don't know. It's an interesting choice here to lock the Acrobat first and then proceed to, you know, not have access to him for the remainder of the time. But Mercenary is going to be our final ban. I would definitely anticipate a first officer here. Yep, that's exactly what's going to happen. I was going to say, you know, maybe they could lock in another kiter, maybe a harasser even. But no, we are going to see that first officer coming in. And yeah, it's a very strong anti-opera singer lineup. So I would be a little bit concerned here for Irohasu playing opera singer, especially because we need a 4-man elimination here. We need a 4-man elimination to even look at tying the score right now. So, you know, having a team that counters opera singer to this degree is very risky here for Irohasu. I feel like, I mean, Puppeteer is definitely a really smart ban. I feel like maybe instead of Seer, the Seer Embalmer pick, we could have gone with, like, maybe something a little more targeted. But, okay, we're actually going to go with the Ivy as well. I was fully expecting the opera singer. That's my bad. But, I mean, to be fair, I'm pretty sure we've only seen Irohasu play opera singer. So, I mean, it's not that unwarranted, but it's still, you know, I'm a little bit surprised. I'm especially surprised at the Seer ban in that case, though. Because you don't, I mean, as we just saw, you don't need to ban Seer if you're playing Ivy. Because there's not a lot that Seer can do. So, that, I don't know how I feel about that one. Other than that, though, I think the main issue here is going to be none of these survivors need to look behind them. They're very strong kiters. Excuse me. So I feel like, yeah, I mean, I feel like in this case the bans were a little, I feel like the bans were like baiting out opera singer. The problem is that none of these survivors, you know, they counter opera singer, but they don't not counter Ivy. That's the kind of thing, you know, it's like you bait out, say, you bait out like Hermit picks and you play Dream Witch or something like that, where it's like, you know, you play Enchantress against a Hermit, you're gonna do great. You play Enchantress against a Dream Witch, you're a sitting duck. So that's just kind of like the first example I could think of like, you know, a fake out like this. But I don't know. Lawyer is definitely going to be interesting here, because I feel like Lawyer is actually going to be quite strong in this situation just because he runs fast. So he can outrun a lot of a lot of what Ivy's going to try to do, but either way, yeah, heading right into its second half of round 1. Once again, Irohasu needs a 4-man elimination here in order to tie the first round. You know, there's no way for AWG to win this first round, but there is every way for FAV to win this first round. So really looking good for FAV here in this situation. We're going to lock on to Appai here, it looks like, trying to get the Acrobat out of the way. And going for the scare here, it does look like we were able to land that, so that is going to be about 67 stacks of that corruption. I feel like if anything's going to be nerfed about Ivy, it's going to be the fact that the corruption just does not go down ever, because it's kind of ridiculous. And yeah, immediately we are going to see that is a very, very fast, well, it could have been faster. A lot of that was just Irohasu catching up in the first place. But that was, that was not a long kite at all. And we're going to go straight to basement here. Basement's a little bit risky. It does guarantee a tie, but in a situation where you need a 4-man elimination, it's probably better to try and get them to rescue. Although, because we are playing Ivy, we can force them to not to code. And that's exactly what we're doing. We're traveling around the map here. We're going to force Aeroplanist off the Cypher. We're going to go ahead, and it looks like we're heading towards Nerisu to force him off the Cypher as well. And calling back the Yith here, we're going to head back up the stairs. Ivy's just going to stay parked down below here and heading out in search of First Officer. First Officer hiding here. Doesn't look like the Yith is able to see him yet. But, oh, we've caught sight of the blood trail. And Dacho's actually going to go and head back towards the chair. It looks like they might be selling Appai. But we'll have to see. Irohasu is going to stay in the basement, though, which is a little bit risky. I feel like at this point, you really do kind of need... Yeah, you need to leave. Irohasu's figured it out. Appai's not going to get rescued here, and they are just going to take the very defensive route, which is very smart. If you don't have to rescue against an Ivy, you don't rescue. Like, don't do that. It's very, very dangerous because, because the corruption doesn't go down, it's very difficult to rescue against her. We're going to see Felix here with the ooh, nicely done with that scare there. Going to send him back just a little bit, and it actually looks like Felix doesn't have borrowed time here, so we are working with Tide Turner as well as Broken Windows and Knee-Jerk Reflex. Going to change targets though once again and looking for First Officer here. Yeah, just keeping up this pressure around the map. We could make this into a 4K. It is unfortunate. I feel like Appai really should not have been shared in basement. Because it made the survivors too comfortable to not rescue. Which means, Irohasu has to kind of work double time to kind of make up for that snowball potential. But we are going to see Dacho taking that hit here. And heading back towards Nerisu. Are we healing? Is that what that is? Yep, we're healing, but that's immediately going to be interrupted here from Irohasu here. Heading towards Nerisu, it looks like once again. We're going to try and get a hit, not quite landing through that pallet. But Nerisu does have to be careful in this area. It is mostly locked off by the tablet. Trying to figure out IV terminology in real time is not easy. I'll tell you that. It's like I know it, but like I don't play her, so we're gonna get better. All right, it's a training process. I'm gonna teleport over to Felix here. Felix does have that final jetpack engaged and is going to use it, but unfortunately is just going to be stunned right out of that. Felix heading back towards the middle here. We've got 2 ciphers remaining, but the pressure here that Irohasu has been able to just extend across the map is really looking good. And just very impressive here. It's the amount of map control that Irohasu is able to get, and the amount of map control that the Shadow is able to get in general. I was kind of predicting this back when she released, but also like when Gamekeeper started becoming meta because of the infinite hook, when Opera Singer was kind of staying meta because of the infinite dash. I'm like, we're gonna need some map control hunters. That's gonna be the next meta, and we're seeing it right now. Here's hoping Wuchang gets buffed this year. But nicely done with the stun and down on Dacho. And we're going to take the Yith out once again, heading, it looks like, back towards the ciphers here. Narisu trying to hide, and it's not quite going to work. Nope, Yith is going to see, but no, actually going to bypass and head for Felix here. That cipher does have more progress on it, so definitely smart. And we're going to take the Yith back and send it out again, but we're going to go for the teleport here, looking for Felix, and yeah, there was just no chance there. I do think that was actually a stun that went through, so nicely done there from Urahasu. Welcome back. Yes, we are in Ivy Land. This is our second round one here. Dacho busy trying to break one of those tablets. Unfortunately, that's just not going to be so happy for him. We do have one pocket watch remaining, and that could definitely come through, but no, we're gonna see the blink instead. Any hopes of that pocket watch coming through have been dashed, and this could be a 4-man elimination. This could be a second 4-man elimination. Really, really strong showing here from Urahasu. And this is making me very happy as well. For AWG, I was worried. I was really, really worried when Brontal left, because he was such a strong round 1 hunter. But I feel like this might work. This might really work out. Just the pressure that Urahasu has, the aggressiveness that Urahasu is able to just keep on these survivors. It's really fun. We are going to see that rescue go off. Yith not quite able to make it in time, but we're still at 2 ciphers remaining. Narisu is sitting at full health, so things could definitely be worse than they are right now for FAV, but they can't decode, and that's just the end of the story. They can't decode. Every time they come close to a cipher, Urahasu is just going to go ahead and leech onto them, put up the tablet. They can't destroy the tablets as fast as Urahasu is putting them up. And they also can't heal. That's the other thing. They can't heal right now, because if they're together in the same spot, that's going to just be like, you know, free real estate for Urahasu to take advantage of. So yeah, it does look like, yeah, it looks like, yeah, that was Dacho in a chest, I think. Getting a perfume there. Unfortunately, that's not going to be of any use. I do think he was looking for a syringe there, trying to get back to full health, because they can't get together to heal. That's going to be very, very dangerous. So yeah, a little unfortunate there. It does look like he's opted to stick with the pocket watch. But right now, it really just is, you know, can they manage to get a solo escape out of this? Because if they can get the solo escape out of this, then they win the round. Otherwise, it's going to be a tied round, and we're just going to automatically go to round 3. But I mean, it's definitely possible. It's possible for them to 1-man escape out of it, but it's going to be very difficult because we're at 2 ciphers remaining. Ciphers don't have bad progress, but again, Urahasu is pressuring those ciphers actively as we're speaking. As we're chasing Narisu as well, and nicely done with that stun. I'm loving the trick that these Dacho in another chest here, just looking for something to use. But yeah, those crows are not doing him any favors right now. Missing the blink though, and we are going to see that football coming into play. A little bit unfortunate that blink was wasted. But with Dacho sitting here at 70 of that corruption, we're looking at that stun. Yup, nicely done with the scare. I love the juke. I'll point it out when if Urahasu is able to do it again before the end of this match. God, the amount of chest. What is that, like the 4th chest? I think that's the 3rd or 4th chest that's been opened this game. So I do like the resourcefulness of FAV survivors. But yeah, if we see. And yeah, Narisu not quite able to hide here. If we see that, like, the camera trick again, yeah, unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to see that. This is going to be very much a slug game here, especially since Dacho is actually over dungeon right now. Definitely not something that we want to be working with during the slug game, but yeah, are we going to teleport? Doesn't look like we're gonna teleport. Oh no, we're actually gonna... Oh, I see. We're gonna leave the leech over there, chair Dacho, and... What are we doing here? We're gonna speed this up again, because this isn't gonna be a one-man escape, right? This is gonna be a one-man escape, right? I'm gonna go on 1.5 speed here. So I don't think anything crazy is gonna happen. Or are we just gonna go totally for the slug game? They're not gonna surrender. They need that one-man escape. If they can push for the one-man escape here, then they push for the one-man escape. But they're gonna try and go for the bleed-out strategy here. Irohasu should chair. I'm not quite sure why he's not chairing. Unless... Oh, is he waiting for the leech to be up? Yeah, okay, I get it now, He was waiting for, He was waiting for the cooldown on the leech ability to go through. That's exactly what that was. And Dashos does still have a third shake on that watch. Is it gonna go through? Oh, but the blink back in time! And that is going to be confirmed, a 4-man elimination. Yeah, very, very long endgame. I'm actually gonna, scooch it back a second. Yeah, okay. I guess it was only a 12-minute match. It was only 12 minutes. It was only, you know. But yeah, okay, yeah, the long slug at the end there was waiting for the cooldown, on the Yith. Because the Yith can only... There's not a lot of cooldowns on Ivy. The one major cooldown is that there's a cooldown on how many times she can repeatedly attach to a survivor. So that's what that was. That was waiting for that to be up, so that wouldn't be an issue. So yeah, smart discipline there, I will say. Very smart discipline there. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for Age of the Ivy here. I really am, because it's always fun to see a new hunter come through, and it's especially fun to see a new hunter that is just so complex. And if this would, there we go. All right, yeah, and we are going to see Yukakina coming in for the subsequent rounds here. Because round 1 was a draw, we are going to be heading into round 3. So 2 more rounds of this to go. But yeah, we are going to see Yukakina's mains here. We've got Wax Artist primarily, as well as Bloody Queen and Nightwatch. I'm a little bit sad to see Hermit taken off that list, but I get it. Yeah, Yukakina is actually a really good wax artist. Like a really good wax artist. I think he plays B tiers usually, unfortunately for you. But yeah, Yukakina is a really good wax artist. And a very dedicated wax artist main. He's been playing wax artist, I think, since release. Because there's old clips of him playing wax artist back before AWG was AWG, and back when they were just WOG, World of Gaming. There's clips of Yukakina playing wax artist from back then. Yukakina's very Yukakina's, I would say, I feel like, is inconsistent the right word? Maybe inconsistent isn't the right word. I don't know what the word is, but like very, it's 4-man or no man, pretty much. From Yukakina. It's either just overwhelmingly, like you cannot escape the way. Yes, very, very situational. Thank you. Lakeside here is an interesting pick though. I feel like FAV is definitely going to try and exploit the fact that Yukakina, like, they're not, and I feel like AWG kind of at a disadvantage here, not being able to pick the map for round 2. Yeah, hit or miss. But like when he's locked in, he's locked in. Like he's had really good matches. Like the 15, I think it was 14 or 15 minutes, Wax Artist got banned. He ended up playing Breaking Wheel on Chinatown against Axis Wave. And I swear to God, it was like somewhere between like 14 and 16 minutes. Got the 4-man. Got the 4-man elimination, but just slow as 16 minutes. Yeah, I think I actually streamed that one. But yeah, I mean, if you not to, I mean, I don't think I can go a stream with AWG without bringing this up, but if you want a fun, and I every day of my life I kick myself because I did stream this and then I forgot to upload it to YouTube. I might restream it like alone at some point and upload it to YouTube, but I feel like we're kind of like past the expiration date of it. Koa qualifier finals, AWG versus Fennel. Most insane 5 rounds you will ever see in your life. Yes, it went to all 5 rounds. It was absolutely insane. Just complete back and forth, like slug to that final Koa qualifying spot. And I'm still so mad at myself because I did stream it and then I forgot to put it on YouTube, and now because Twitch doesn't save your VODs, it's like, oh, well, that never happened. Yes, it was the undead match. If I literally, if I wouldn't be watching it for a 3rd time, then I would stream it. But like, you know how it is. But genuinely, like, if you have a few hours of free time, find the VOD for that one on like the Japanese IDV YouTube account. Insane match. Like legendary status for me. It's up there with like the Sun Sisters versus, I think it was ACT. It was an ACT or MRC. I always forget who the other team was. But the Sun Sisters semifinals match with Sculptor versus One Piece Perfumer, like Koa 5, like it's up there on like that level for me. But enough of my esports yammering. I keep doing this. I keep getting off topic and talking about esports. But yeah, sorry. It's been a minute since I've like streamed for, I think it's been almost a month since I've streamed esports. So like I'm like withdrawals, or when was, I think it was MRC. I'm like pretty sure it was MRC. This is the Bones Esports yammering stream. all of my esports streams are just me yapping. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it was MRC. Yeah. But yeah, heading into the first. Oh my god, for a second I like saw the colors of the map and I was like, well, since when were we on Ever Sleeping? That's way better for Yukikina. No, we're on we're on Lakeside still. I saw the yellow, the like yellowish green, and I was like, what? No, yeah, we're on Lakeside. But yeah, we're going to ban for final ban, okay, final ban is going to be Priest this year. We've locked in the Aeroplanist, Psychologist, Mercenary, and Entomologist here. So Entomologist is a little bit risky for Yukikina here, especially if we are going to be going Wax Artist. A little bit interesting that they decided to ban Opera Singer. Yukikina definitely has an Opera Singer. I feel like they're going into this confident that they can counter the Wax Artist, though. I feel like that's going to be the strategy here. No one here really, I feel like Entomologist is going to be the main player. Entomologist and her harassment is going to be the main player. We could potentially not see a Wax Artist here, though. We could see a Bloody Queen. We could see even another Shadow if Yukikina has that under his belt. But I would say, okay, we're going to see Nightwatch. Yeah, that was going to be option 3. Nightwatch isn't bad on Lakeside. It's a little bit difficult for him just because it is a big map, but it is very open. I mean, we just saw Pepe absolutely wrecking it with Nightwatch back in Koa on Lakeside, so it's not a bad pick here. It's I feel like it would be so funny to go through all the streams that I have saved and like record my Nightwatch reactions, kind of like shifting, because there was a while where like every time Nightwatch was picked I was like no, but I've made my peace with Nightwatch. I feel like Nightwatch here is also just, I feel like Nightwatch is better than Wax Artist in this situation, because I feel like they were expecting a Wax Artist, and now Nightwatch is more difficult, or not more difficult, I would say. It's an interesting spawn point. I feel like that's to lock off Dacho's Cypher. I feel like that spawn point is to make sure that Dacho's Cypher is the one that gets locked off. But I mean, it's basically the same as spawning in between there. It's like 3 feet off. It's really, you know, and spawn points in I mean, that kind of is how it is. That's kind of how it is. And yeah, it's very much an avoid wax artist comp. I feel like the thing with Nightwatch is that he's very predictable. But he's still a strong hunter. So it's like, even if you know when he's going to like suck you back, like, you're still gonna get sucked. I committed to this sentence as I was saying it before I like fully thought it through. Shrug. Anyway, heading into the first half of round 2, we're gonna actually go straight for Big Boat, which is an interesting decision here. Bit of a difficult area to kind of work with, especially if we're looking at an Aeroplanist as our first chase. Aeroplanist can kind of just, you know, leave the boat very quickly. But we are going to see the wind coming through here. Gonna have 2 charges of that, and Yukakin heading around the side of the boat, not quite knowing where Felix is, so we are just going to go ahead and switch targets. We have brought insolence here, so we're looking pretty good on that front. It looks like we do have... Is that... Oh, it's Warp! Okay! I was gonna say, we haven't seen Warp yet. But Warp is really good on Nightwatch. It gives him a lot of versatility. Because he is already a very high mobility hunter. Warp, I feel like, kind of makes up for the fact that his dash got nerfed. So I'm really excited to see Warp coming through. I was kind of talking about that at the beginning of the stream, the fact that we do have Warp now, and how fun of a skill it is. But are we gonna see... Yes! We're gonna see the Warp coming through on the boat! This is exactly where you really, really want to use the Warp, because it is just that strong here. Yukina did immediately break it just to send it into cooldown right away. We could have used it a second time, but Narisu's not gonna go ahead and loop the boat again here. B is coming in to support. This was definitely, like, that was the biggest issue that I was anticipating with this team. Definitely coming through here. Entomologist support is going to be really, really strong, especially on as open of a map as Lakeside is. I feel like she's... Oh, that was weird. The stream just buffered, I guess. But yeah, Yukikina running a little bit low on resources here. We do have our first presence unlocked here, so not the worst situation to be in. We are going to get our second hit in on Narisu. Unfortunately, no blink to work with here. I feel like Warp did kind of serve the purpose of a blink in this situation, but you know, blink would be awesome right about now. But we are going to see a Tempest coming through, not quite close enough to that window here, unfortunately. Wait, was that Domeki? My god. You can see his wide-ass pants from here. And that is going to be Psychologist down. Once again, very sorry for constantly pointing out the Psychologic skins. It's the only crossover that I know. So I get very excited every time I see it, because it's the... I mean, like, I know Death Note, but, like, it's Death Note. I watched... Sorry. Everybody should watch XXXholic. It's really good. And I'm saying this as somebody who doesn't watch a lot of anime. It's really good. Nicely done with that Tempest, though, getting Dacho away from the chair. We are going to see... Oh, nicely done on the Terror Shock, and that is going to be right after half on the rescue. Beautiful pressure there from Yukikina. So good there. And that's going to be down on both Narisu and Dacho here for the double down. 3 ciphers remaining here. Pretty much looking at 1 cipher remaining at this point. We do have, you know, 2 ciphers that are at and past 70%, but that was so good. That was such a good stuffed rescue. Just with coming in with the Tempest, coming in, just blocking Mercenary in every way possible, getting that Terror Shock in, and just Beautiful, beautiful work. We're gonna switch over to Entomologist here, taking a hit pretty fast there, not quite able to use the bees to her advantage. Yukikina just going to go ahead, dash right through those bees as well, looking for the Tempest here. Did we actually? Oh no, we ran out of the bees. And okay, fortunately, Appai able to drop that pallet in time. And unfortunately, nothing else he can do, nowhere else in the area. That wind is going to have quite the slowdown, and we're going to see Entomologist shared. I feel like we're still in a draw situation, though, just because of the Cypher Rush here. Not quite looking at a win situation, unless we're able to somehow pressure that final Cypher, but no, Dacho is hard at work on it. And, ooh, switching targets here I feel like is not the best idea, because they are just gonna go, maybe? Are we gonna pop that Cypher? Yeah, we are just gonna go ahead and pop that Cypher. I feel like staying at the chair might have been a better idea, but oh, beautiful elbow pad coming through from Dacho. And that other gate is going to be open. 30 seconds left on Warp. It was gonna be a tie situation regardless, so it's not the, like, not a bad decision necessarily. It is just a little bit unfortunate here, but oh no, oh no, oh no. Mercenary here can get dungeon. You can't see my face right now, but I... No! Oh no! Oh my god! No! They should nerf... They should nerf Mercenary again. That was so close! And after that good of a rescue stuff, that is just so unfortunate there. Oh my god. It's okay. It's okay. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Oh. Oh my god. That was clutch, though. That was absolutely clutch. And just lucky on the dungeon spawn. Like, that's like B4U level dungeon escape. Just right at the last second there. Just, wow. What? Oh my god. I mean, well done. Very, very well done. It's just a little painful. Just a little bit painful. Oh, and it should have been a draw! It absolutely should have been a draw if it was any other character. If the dungeon hadn't been there. If he had crawled a little bit slower, you know? All of those variables. But that is what it is. That's exactly, you know, the line between winning and losing is that thin. And yeah, that just means that AWG survivors have to push that much more to get a lead in this situation, because that did just give FAV the lead. So, you know, could have been a tie situation there. Should have been a tie situation there. But yeah, it is what it is. He should, and you know, that it's a lesson for next time. Everything's a learning experience. Stay at the chair. That Cypher was primed. Or it was, you know, it was close enough to being primed at that point that it was popped by the time that Yukikina had gotten there. But alright, yeah, it looks like we are gonna see Chicken again for the second round here. I would anticipate we're gonna see Ivy ban, and they'll take the Dream Witch. They'll just counter comp Dream Witch as much as they can. But Puppeteer being locked off here is really unfortunate. They're what? Okay. So we're gonna leave the shadow open. All right. We're gonna leave. We're gonna leave the shadow open and we're gonna lock in Seer. I guess we're counter comping Dream Witch right now. But like, as far as I know, Shadow is still viable on Lakeside. So, I mean, maybe she's not as good, but like, I don't know. I mean, this is, in any other situation, this would be a really good team comp for AWG. Like, they're all playing on main right now. They're pulling out all of the stops. However, if we're looking at another Shadow, that renders everybody here almost completely useless except for Dancer. Like, the only one who stands a chance here is Dancer. And even then, like, as soon as the leech goes off, if it's in the boxes area, there's nothing else that she can do. So, Prospector can, but having his items canceled is going to be rough. I feel like that's going to be the main issue here. If Chicken goes Dream Witch here, then they have a chance. But, like, leaving the shadow open after last round is really... Yeah, to the surprise of absolutely nobody, we're gonna be seeing the shadow again. And yeah, yep, exactly that. Dream Witch, that, and I feel like if, oh. sorry, the, oh! Chicken out of containment? The chicken stuck in the corner spawn was making me laugh, but nope, we're gonna not take that bait. It's... Chicken got out of the coop. I actually didn't think of that. Thank you for making the bad joke for me. Yeah, I'm stumped by the decision to pick Seer here, because Seer is effectively useless against Ivy. Chicken Ivy could absolutely get Fav back on top. If any team is going to be carried by a Hunter, because Chicken was crazy last year in IJL. And just didn't have enough time to shine, because Kruger was subbing in for, like, round 2 and 3. But, yeah, like, they have to want to play against the Ivy here, I guess maybe for experience, but, like, you're losing. Getting a 3-man escape here, or more, they have to get a 4-man to win the round. They have to get a 3-man just to tie here and keep it at a tie. And I mean, AWG is definitely capable of that. They are all playing on main. But there's very little, if anything, that Seer can do here. So, well, it is what it is. We are going with a pretty dripped out team, so at least we got something pretty to look at as we get into this. But looks like our first target to leech here is going to be Tawash here. Not going to get the scare from the Yith, but are we going to get the sync? Yes, we are, and Chicken immediately just going to go for that teleport here. Owl is not yet back, but it doesn't really matter because it's not as if Tawash could look behind him anyway. We're gonna mind game around... Ooh, nice mind game around those stairs. Tawashi is going to just drop right down, and we are going to start this. It does look like Owl is back by now, but no, we're actually going to go ahead, get the leech over on to Ace here, force him off of that Cypher. And okay, yeah, we did go for that premature Owl here, or preemptive Owl, I would say. It did end up being a little bit premature though. And yeah, Chicken is just gonna go ahead and wait that out, and that's the only Owl we're going to get. Nicely done with the scare, just immediately forcing Toshi back into the main body, and yeah, looking pretty good here. Cyphers are moving fairly quickly though. I think that the Cypher that's chugging along like that is gonna be Kairu's Cypher there with that fast box. So we already do have one Cypher popped. Not the worst situation in the world to be in, especially since we do have the Cypher popped here with our first down. About a minute 45 We're gonna be looking at probably about 2 minutes for this first chair. Not bad at all. Oh, really? Okay, that's something to know. If you... So, if you just stay... If she's, like, trying to yith you and you just stay on the stairs, it, like, won't do anything. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. That's good to know. A's coming in, using the ball just to get to the chair as fast as possible here. Really? Ooh, nicely done! Unfortunately, not able to get the body block there, but nicely done getting a no-hit rescue there. Or no-damage rescue. Just to kind of keep the team intact. That's really what you want to look for, especially against... Yeah, especially against the Shadow here, you really do want to get at the least amount of damage on the team that you possibly can, because she just snowballs instantly. So, really, really nicely done there, as much as they can. Namako in with the harassment. Very risky, but oh, getting the hit in on Namako, that's exactly the risk I was talking about. He needs to get out of that area as fast as possible here. He is actually heading into... Ooh! Yeah. Yeah, getting, just caught out like that. Really, really unfortunate there for AWG. That's exactly, you know, that's what I was saying. The snowball potential of the Shadow, we're seeing that in real time here. Getting the well, I gotta stop calling it the leech. The Yith back on Tawashi. And yeah, just absolutely nothing you could do there. Ace is in the area, but it's going to be very, very hard to try and go for a stun rescue, especially while you're yithed. Yithed, I guess? That's... I'll figure it out eventually. I'll figure out my commentator terminology for her at some point. But I guess I'll have plenty of matches to practice at least. But Namako taking the chase here and just getting bumped right up to that 100. How did that even happen? Was that a scare? Just shot from like 50 to 100 in a second. Anyway, maybe I misread the number. But yeah, just the amount of pressure that Chicken's able to enact here, because they weren't in a bad position, especially with that no damage rescue. It was just Namako trying to come in to harass was just way too bold. Just way too bold for that situation. And we're gonna get the hit in on A's here. A's, again, can't harass because of that 77% corruption. Heading back onto Namako. We can go and get a little... Okay, nope, never mind. I was gonna say, well, we do have a magnet on, so we could be able to make this work, but 100 corruption, and that's not gonna be the case. Gonna send the Yith out once again, looking for Kairu here. Not able to get that scare in, but we're actually not... We're looking better than I thought we were. Checking out the cipher progress here. Kairu's been going hard at those ciphers with the assistance of the music boxes as well. And just really, you know, getting that decoding done. The one problem here is that their final cipher is in the center. They need to be able to start a new cipher, or at the very least just, you know, drive Chicken away from that area. Oh, nicely done with that teleport there! Just knocking Ace directly out of that football and just going straight down. It looks like we have started a new cipher, but I feel like it's going to be too little too late in this situation. Both survivors are injured. They can't regroup to heal up because that's just going to be, you know, a giant beacon towards Ivy, like, hey, we're over here, please, please go ahead and, yith us. And yeah, already both survivors have been yithed. Sorry, it just sounds so funny. Yeah, both survivors are yithing right now. Sorry. I cracked myself up. Yithing. Yeah, I mean, at this point, if they can get a draw, it'll be better than nothing. But with Ace taking back off, like, it's already over. Nicely done with that magnet there. I think Namako might actually be getting the timing down now. with, you know, kind of canceling out the stun. I feel like it's a little bit like Anne kind of situation, like even if... Oh, and nicely done with that, was that a second or third magnet? I think that was probably a third magnet. We do have one remaining still. It's a little, I feel like it's a little bit, kind of give and take. Like, Prospector, as we can see there, can really work as a solo kiter, but it's very much like, spam magnet, spam magnet, spam magnet! Like, once you're out of resources against IV in that situation, it's very, very difficult to, like, try and, kite her like that. But yeah, not even able to land that magnet, and that's gonna be pretty much it here. We've got, Namako has already used self-heal, we're gonna just go ahead and go for the chair. Kairu back up though, and we're gonna just go ahead and drop Namako. He's already used his self-heal, nothing to worry about here. Just gonna head back towards the center of the map, actually. We're not even... Are we gonna reach Big Boat in time? Possibly. Kairu on the stairs here. We are going to be able to go for the teleport, but it's not going to get a lot of corruption in on Kairu, so nicely done on that front. Got the Yith locked on, and yeah, we are going to see that this thing, like holding down the button for the Yith, to use as like a camera trick. It's not just the red light trick, but it's also to try and force the survivor to look at her face. And increase the corruption. But yep, that is pretty much GG's here. Unless they're not going to be able to crawl to dungeon or anything. That should, yeah, overwhelming victory here in the second round, for FAV Gaming. And that's really, really difficult to come back from. I do want to see kind of in the in-between here. Yeah, we are going to see the score. It's not looking pretty. We'll say that much. Yeah, we've got 6-13 here. So I actually, if it's 6-13, if they, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for them to, yeah, it's going to be very difficult for them to kind of make up that point deficit, but it is possible. And we have seen AWG come back from similar point deficits before. Actually, they've come back from worse point deficits. So, you know, anything can happen when you watch AWG. This kind of like rule of thumb. I love saying when I commentate, it's never over until it's over, but with AWG in particular, it's really never over until it's over. Like it is, there is no other team, I think, that really embodies, the sort of, I guess, determination and tenacity that AWG has, where it's like, if we haven't lost yet, then we haven't lost. But yeah, it looks like Yukikina is going to be hunting first, with FAV survivors returning. We'll see if they've made any swaps in their lineup, but I would doubt that they have at this point in the game, unless. But heading into round 3 here, I mean, it's quite the points on the board for FAV. I mean, is it 7-point lead? With 6-13 would be a 7-point lead. So basically, Yukikina needs to 4-man here. And I do think AWG had the map pick here, so Ever Sleeping Town, really good map pick. Yeah, we've got Aeroplanist, Psychologist, Acrobat, Lawyer, Seer, and Priestess off the table now. And they're going to ban... Oh, okay, they're not going to ban Wax Artist. They're probably just going to like try and hard counter Wax Artist here. But yeah, they're going to ban Ivy and Sangria. Let's get used to that one, folks. I'm gonna anticipate that's going to be kind of our name of the game. And okay, we're actually going to go with Barmaid here, as well as Entomologist. Barmaid, a little bit interesting. I feel like they might be expecting or like trying to knock Hermit off the table with that. But Barmaid's not a Wax Artist counter. Unless she is, but like, I feel like she's not specifically a Wax Artist counter. We're gonna lock out Antiquarian. In response, we're going to lock forward. And once again, Entomologist is gonna be an issue. But we could go Night Watch here at the end of the day. We could go Night Watch, we could go Bloody Queen, we could go pretty much any of Yukakina's mains right now. So yeah, I kind of wish that that FAV had like put more specific bans up, but I mean, banning meta, you can never really go wrong. We're going to see Patient locked in as our final pick with Embalmer as our final ban from Yukakina. I feel like Wax Artist is still the optimal choice here, especially with, you know, the forward on the team. You do kind of want to have the anti-stun capability, because they are going to get aggressive with it. You know, they want to defend their lead. They're not going to just kind of settle for a tie here, I think. Or they could. They honestly... FAV is in a position where they could play for a tie and just, like, you know, rely on Chicken to clean up. Because, like, even with a tie, they still keep their lead. Yukakina needs... I think Yukakina actually needs to minimum 3-man elimination for AWG to have a chance at winning. With a 7-point... Actually, I think, well, yeah, Yukakina needs to 3-man eliminate or 4-man eliminate, because to get 7 points, that's going to have to be 5 points plus 2 points. But you get 2 points for a 3-man elimination. Or, like, 2 plus points, because the other team gets 1, and you get 3. I don't know if my score explanation makes sense. Okay, we're going to go with Night Watch. It's definitely a safe choice here. It's a little bit risky after last match, but no Mercenary on the table makes it a little bit safer, I would say. Because, like, we did see Yukakina has a good Night Watch. The problem was just that it was a Mercenary. Now we don't have the Mercenary to worry about, so we do have... Patience gonna be annoying. And I definitely feel like locking out Acrobat here was not the best choice from FAV, especially because Acrobat is so strong against Night Watch. Patience is definitely a good alternative. He's a little bit slower on the ball, so it's a little bit more difficult to dodge the Tempest, but, you know, I feel like Barmaid is interesting here. And I do feel like Barmaid and Entomologist were kind of like a don't play Hermit, but yeah, I don't even think Hermit was on the table for Yukakina. I'm a little bit sad to not see Wax Artist, but I definitely understand why Wax Artist isn't here. Especially because it's like, you know that, like, FAV is expecting Wax Artist. It's like, you don't want to play into expectations, especially on day one. Like, this is day one of the tournament. There's a ton of matches left to go. So, you know, there's still, you know, whoever wins or loses this match, it's really just, you know, first of all, you know that the other teams are going to be studying this match to see, you know, where they can exploit you and where you can exploit them, kind of thing. But you don't want to play all your cards at once. And for Yukakina especially, you know, you don't want to play all your cards at once. You kind of want to do the unexpected so that when you do go with Wax Artist later down the line, okay, we're going to go with no detention. That's a little bit risky here. Especially, I feel like no detention here, we wouldn't be bringing Warp first, or we might bring, like, Excitement first to try and counter forward, but forward and Entomologist, I would say. But I feel like you don't really need Trump Card on Night Watch, especially on a map like this. But that looks like, is that Blink? I think that might be Blink. Yeah, heading into this, it's going to be first half of round 3. Yukakina does need a 3-man elimination here, in order to, or minimum 3-man elimination, in order to win. We're getting a little bit distracted by the bees here, looking for Appai, but unfortunately Appai not at this cipher. We are going to end up running into Barmaid over at the corner house if we continue on this trajectory. And yeah, that's exactly where Yukakina is heading, over into the corner house. So this is a very strong area. So I'm a little getting a little bit tripped up there at that pallet as well. I'm a little concerned about this area. What is happening here? Is that lag? Cause
A little bit of a weird input. Okay, we do have Blink up, so we... Oh, but Forward coming through with pretty significant stun there. But of course, Felix actually coming around the corner here. A little bit unfortunate. Oh, and Narisu coming through with another stun, but it's not quite going to go through. Looks like we have actually kind of given up on the chase on Felix. Well aware that Forward did buy enough time for Felix to heal. So we're just going to go ahead and commit to him. This is honestly really not a bad decision. We do have Dacho as a secondary tide turner here, kind of playing the role of the... Ooh, and nicely done on that blink. I was going to say we could blink through there, and that is exactly what we did. So cutting that first chase relatively short here. We're under 2 minutes into the match, so definitely not bad. We do have quite a lot of Cypher progress across the board. So, you know, it could be much worse here. We did already force Barmaid to waste one of her drinks. Entomologist has gone through about half of her bees with that harassment. So we're not in the worst situation here. And we're also almost at full presence here, especially with the help of not only the extra hit on Barmaid, but also the insolence coming into play. So we're looking pretty set for the remainder of the match. We've got pretty much 3 ciphers remaining here. We've got over halfway on 2 of those, on 2 of the 4 ciphers remaining, and about 40% on that second to last cipher. But Yukikina heading towards... I feel like there's something weird. There's something weird happening here. Because, like, his inputs feel delayed? And I don't know if that's just from my perspective or, like, some, like, ping issue or something. I don't know what's up with that. But Narisu playing around the middle here, looking for the direction that Yukikina's red light was going to come from, and taking the pallet accordingly. Not quite able to get through that pallet in time, but going for the Tempest here, unfortunately, not... Yeah, Forward's vaulting speed is just way too much. Missing the Terror Shock as well. Yeah, we really just need to break those pallets and keep moving. Narisu heading towards the tram. It's going to be very, very difficult to come back from if he's able to get on. And yes, he is going to be able to get on. Yukikina just getting a little bit stuck at that corner. This is huge here for Fav. Just the amount of time. I mean, tram, the main usage of the tram is just to waste time. And as long as Fav gets, you know, a draw out of this, I'm pretty sure that guarantees their win. But we are going to get Narisu down right in front of the tram here. Gonna go for the pickup. We're going for... Oh my god. Oh, that was risky. that was so risky. That was playing with my heart health there. Wow, yeah, bold pickup, but honestly good on Yukikina, not wanting to waste any time at all there. Just really going for the aggression, because again, you know, Yukikina knows he doesn't have detention here. He needs to be in a good position at that Cypher Pop, because otherwise, you know, this game is absolutely toast. But we do have Narisu eliminated here. Nicely done on that blink. Are we going to see Trump Card come into play? Yes, we are going to see Trump Card come into play. It looks like we have switched to Teleport. We probably could have switched to Warp here if that... I actually can't tell if that's Warp or Teleport, because they have the exact same cooldown. But I think it's Teleport. Anyway, but we got 80, 75 second cooldown on that, so... Ooh, but that Cypher is about to be primed here. At the very least... Oh, we're actually going to go for the Cypher Pop right away, because they figured out that Yukikina did not have detention, so they just popped that immediately. Just going as aggressively as they possibly can, coming into this endgame. Just pushing for the draw, because, you know, they know if they are able to get the draw here, then I don't think AWG is going to even be able to play the second half of this round. But yeah, that is going to be Dacho here in the chair. Actually going for... Yeah, we're not going to want to waste time going for basement, but that gate is open. Oppai already at the gate. We've still got 35 seconds left on Teleport. Just no way to catch up here. And that is, I believe... victory? We might play through the second half of the round anyway, unless... I'm honestly not sure, because I do think that guaranteed the win, but they're not, like, pulling up the win screen immediately. Okay, so we might go to the second half of the round. I may have miscalculated. But also because it's a draw, technically the points are still even. So, okay, yeah, we are going to go through the second half of the round. But by points, I really don't think that there's any way for AWG to win this. We're 8-15 right now. They can't regain the points. They can win the round, but I don't... What is the conditions here? Are there any win conditions, or is it just like FAV has already won? Is that the situation? I think that's the situation. That has to be the situation here, because even if AWG wins this round, then like they still can't do anything. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, but we'll stick it through. We'll stick it through to the end. Maybe they'll get a little silly. That's true, because every win counts towards total points in the tournament. So, or every round win counts towards total points in the tournament. But at the very least, I mean, I feel like this is just going to be like an exhibition match, more or less. I am kind of skipping through here because we have been going for 3 hours. I would like to cut it sooner or later. It's a little, I mean, I wanted to get to, maybe I'll take a break and then I'll stream again for Axis Wave versus Scars, but I want to give myself as well as everybody who's stuck with me for the entire time a break. So I'll probably end the stream and then maybe come back in like probably an hour so that I can like eat dinner and like, you know, get my voice back a little bit. But yeah, we're locking in Mercenary and Dancer first here, banning Forward, Antiquarian, and now Priestess. We're also going to lock in the Barmaid here. Looks like we are going to be going very anti-Dream Witch here, fully expecting a Dream Witch out of Chicken here, because we have banned the Shadow here this time. We've also banned Opera Singer, very obviously. So yeah, we are just going to go ahead and take that Dream Witch, which hopefully, I would hope that Chicken plays Dream Witch, because I miss Chicken Dream Witch. And I like Chicken Dream Witch. And yeah, hey, that's going to be our first novelist of the competitive season. Welcome back. Very much welcome back here. Long-ish time no see from novelist. But yeah, I feel like I mean, he's not bad against Opera Singer by any means, but he's practically unplayable against Ivy, so definitely understand why we haven't been seeing nearly as much novelists getting picked, just not wanting to take the risk of that at all. But it's really interesting, honestly. Just the fact that like we now have 2 hunters that are at the top of the meta, finally, after like a year of competitive play where we did not have a single we didn't have a single hunter that was at like the top other than Opera Singer, but we now have pretty much we have two S tier hunters now, which is it's been a long time, like since Nightwatch got nerfed and Opera Singer kind of kept getting kicked down the totem pole. It's been a minute. And yep, we are gonna see that Dream Witch coming out here from Chicken. Chicken Dream Witch is just so smooth. Just so fun to watch. I mean, I think the most standout match for me that Chicken played, it was on Lakeside, and I was like, this is it was Lakeside with like a total counter comp. I think it was against Axis Wave. I might be remembering that wrong. It was during last year's IJL, but yeah, it was during last year's Autumn IJL. But like it was like total Dream Witch counter comp, Lakeside Village. I was like, why are we picking Dream Witch here? And just the control that Chicken had over them. Like, I'm not surprised at all that he's been going crazy with Ivy, because, you know, and I'm in that same sense, like, I'm really excited to see, you know, what the top Dream Witches start doing with Ivy, especially on the competitive scene, because like she's crazy. She's absolutely crazy in the right hands. But yeah, we are gonna see, I would say we could probably go Dancer first chase here, possibly Novelist first chase here. I feel like Dancer first chase is always a risk just because it is Kairu, but it's also Dream Witch. So setting up a sandwich here, knocking her out of the boxes, could go really, really well. We do have very, very classic here. We're looking at Patroller, we're looking at Trump Card, we're looking at Detention. Does look like both Dancer and Novelist are both carrying Flywheel here. Broken Windows on Barmaid, Tied on Mercenary. Finally a textbook match here. I feel like so much of the stream, because of the Shadow, has been like new territory. It's like, oh, finally, like a comp that I recognize. And this is also something I love about Chicken, is that he plays Broadcaster, which is one of my favorite Dream Witch skins, even if it's a B tier. Even if it's blonde and it's a B tier, and you're like, why do you of all people like this? And it's like, well, because it's cute. Yeah, it looks like we are going to be taking Kairu on the first chase here, waiting for the main leech to catch up here, and going for that sandwich immediately, heading all the way around here. Kairu transitioning away from the corner house, placing our second slow box. Actually, no, transitioning back towards corner house. Really nice maneuver there. Just trying to keep Chicken a little bit spread out here, and trying to set up this sandwich here. That slow box is really getting in the way of it though. But Kairu playing around here, very bold, but yeah, we are going to get that leech hit in. Spawn followers still very, very close by, and coming out with a second Patroller now. Kairu, trying to pirouette away, but that's just not going to be the case. Actually pirouetting directly into the Patroller, but nicely done with that Flywheel to just avoid the Patroller here, trying to get the timing right. And are we going to be able to continue? Going to vault once again. I think we've got one more bite on the Patroller, but no, we're actually going to go with a second Patroller from the main body. And Kairu going back over here. I think that was one bite on the Patroller. Looking at 2 bites on the Patroller. Are we going to be able to continue to dodge here? This is becoming a very... Yes, actually, we were able to dodge through the entirety of that Patroller, so really nicely done. We're going to pallet stun one of those leeches. Kairu really doing a great job on this first chase. It's already 2 ciphers remaining now. Yeah, 90-second first chase here, so really nicely done. And a beautiful pirouette as well. Now, obviously, I would say Chicken is playing a little bit more casually here, but Kairu really just pulling out all of the stops here. Is going to go down, but not before our second to last cipher has already been, got about a quarter of the way progress on it, so just very, very strong here. And just, you know, the opening of the match. We're already at 2 ciphers remaining. Heading for the chair here. We do have A's right nearby looking for this rescue, but definitely doesn't want to rescue right away. We have about halfway through our second to last cipher, have just started our final cipher, looking at about 10% here. Is taking the time with the rescue, but it does look like Chicken has gone and found the was that a chair hit? Oh my god, that was a chair hit. I didn't even realize that was a chair. I was like, oh, why does Chicken like not have presence right now? Oh, that was a chair hit. But Kairu, of course, is going to take a hit there. We have switched to Blink as well, so no more Patroller here. But Namako is actually going to take the leech. Kairu does still have another chair to sit through. No stunners on the team here does mean that we're not going to be able to harass, but Namako actually take it. You just playing with that leech. Not a care in the world on that front. We're going to try and get Kairu into this chair. Woof, a little bit close for comfort there, I would say. Namako using the book here to swap the leech, but that leech was not being piloted at the moment, so it's a little bit interesting. But ooh, nicely done with that body block there from Tawashi. And yeah, we're actually just gonna go ahead and put him directly into the chair, because why not? All we need here, I mean, we don't really need anything here, but all Chicken needs here is to just get a draw and call it a day. You know, bare minimum 1 elimination would be great. Oh, nicely done with that blink. Very, very nicely done on Aze's part for somewhat predicting it and not getting that Terror Shock. But, of course, all survivors are injured here. We've got the Cypher at past 50%. Is looking for that pallet stun. And that is going to connect. Towash is going to see that second chair here. And Chicken back at that Cypher, pressuring it, but actual final Cypher is already at 85%, and Ace is actually right here decoding it. We are going to get that leech in on him, but he can just come for the rescue here. Got it at about 90%. It is very risky for them to pressure the Cypher like this, especially since all of them are injured. It's going to be very easy for Chicken to kind of just start picking them off if they're not super careful about it. But yeah, they need to get Chicken's attention off of this Cypher, but with Towash getting eliminated, that's going to be a little bit easier. We're looking at 93%, 95, 96%. Namako needs to be careful here. We do still have Flywheel, but it looks like we're about halfway to getting another swap here, so definitely needs to watch out. We've got Kairu here using one elbow pad out of a chest there, just to keep distance away. And we're gonna see Mercenary back on that Cypher, just looking to try and pop it, and yup, nicely done there, taking advantage of the Mercenary delayed damage. Kind of, I would say once again, but I feel like it's kind of revenge on FAV Gaming. Going for the Mercenary delayed damage there to clutch the Cypher pop. But A is over at the gate. We've got Chicken down at the graveyard gate. Namako heading towards the center here. The thing is, though, with Ever Sleeping Town, it's much easier for Chicken to keep an eye on both gates at once. Or it's very easy for Chicken to keep an eye on both gates at once, so a little bit unfortunate here for AWG, and Kairu was actually able to get that gate open just in time, and we do have max sticker, so I would say Kairu's probably going to be able to crawl out, unless Chicken catches up in time, but that is exactly where Kairu is headed. Or are we healing? Because that gate is open, right? Is that gate open? Is the gate not open, or was it the other gate? Uh-oh. I think Kairu's in the open gate. But we won't turn the camera to actually check. Okay, Kairu was able to self-heal, so I would say that is the open gate here. Chicken trying to prevent Ace from getting that escape here. We've got 30 seconds left in detention. If Ace is able to kite for another 30 seconds, if they're able to delay for another 30 seconds, they could make this into a 3-man escape. Is going for the down. Are they going to be able to get out in time? No, not quite! And that attack recovery is just not going to be long enough there. And that's going to be a draw. Tied the round. And FAV was going to take home the victory anyway. The fun and victory, if I could say. But yeah, just what a set of matches. Really, really excited to see Chicken kind of returning. And just coming out so strongly. Like, this is his first professional appearance since Autumn IJL. So I'm very excited to see him again. But yeah, that is all from me for now. Thank you guys all for coming to the stream, sticking with me for the past 3 hours and 15 minutes. But yeah, I might be back, I might not. We'll see what happens. Yeah, I'm gonna try and keep as up to date with IJL as I possibly can. Once again, if you see matches and you're like, I want Bones to talk about this one, just let me know and I will do it. But other than that, thank you all for coming, and I'll see you next time.